All right, welcome everybody to day 3 of the NA versus EU showdown. And right now we are going to be having the EU side, the European teams, face off again in day 3. This is technically round 2 because this is the second week of the event so far. This is going to be going for the entire month of June. We have 3 weeks of the regular season. Then we're going to be moving into the playoffs and then into the finals. So we have our list of European teams here. We've separated them into 2 sections, but they're the same teams playing each and every day, every Monday and Tuesday. Then to show off some of the prizes we have for the regular season, we have $1,000 splitting between NA and EU. And then for the finals, we have an additional $4,000 to be split amongst all of the teams. Then, we have our daily map rotation. We're playing 5 matches, 3 on Erangel, 2 on Miramar. And welcome in my fellow co-host, Mr. Stento. What's up, man? Welcome.
Yeah, great to be back. Very excited to watch week 2 action here between the EU side. It's a pretty hotly contested top of the leaderboard. I think we have a moment maybe right now before we jump into the action to perhaps pull that up. Thank you, Blitz. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, Kinetic 7 and Torch both holding the top spot with 112 points and 69 kills each. So that's pretty interesting. You don't often see teams holding the same amount of kills on the top of the leaderboard. So those teams stepping together in stride at the top of the leaderboard. Kicked Out, a new team that I haven't seen much of, honestly, because we're somewhat new to the EU side, but Kicked Out had a great first week. They're sitting in 3rd place with 86 points. Winner's Circle in 4th with 80 points. And rounding out the top 5 is Tenetic 1 with 78. One thing I'd like to point out before we do switch to some stats, ladies and gentlemen, is that the top 8 teams from this EU section is going to be moving on to the finals. So right now that cutoff point is hanging out right around Nitrous Esports with 53 points, but tons of teams hanging out just a couple points below that. So we'll take a quick look over to our kill leaders at the moment. There you have it. Our top 5 kill leaders is going to be led by QDex here with a whopping 37 kills. So pretty impressive. A couple of Torch members in 2nd and 3rd with 22 to Fizz and 20 to Luca. Dickas for Tenetic 1 has 20 kills, and Ghosts for Winner Circle with 20. And then one more quick stat before we do hop into our first match of the evening is our damage dealt statistic. One of my favorite stats here, Blitz, just to really see who is putting down the hurt onto these other teams. And as you can expect with the massive kills, QDex has 5,100 plus damage. Marco for Kicked Out isn't too far behind with 4,300, as well as Luca. Ghost for Winner Circle, 4,100, and Traves with 3,700. So some impressive stats from some of these boys in week 1, but we've got 2 more weeks to be played here. And ladies and gentlemen, we are dropping in on our first match of the evening, and the plane path is coming in from the top of Severny down to the center of Military Base here. A lot of range of this map for these teams as we focus into our first match of the evening here, Blitz.
Yeah, great job going through all the teams. Again, another thing I want to point out is, Sento mentioned top 8 teams from both regions will be moving on to face each other. There's a lot of teams there that are so close in the top, from 8 to 16. So many people are kind of in that 50-point range, so it's really close. And another great thing to see is that there's so many players from different teams on the damage and kill list, just showing that so many teams are doing a good job today, or throughout the entire event, There's not just one team taking it, even though QDex has really been killing it there for the kills and damage. And we have our first circle pop here. Something we haven't really seen too much of, so we're pretty happy to see this, I'm sure. We got a military base zone, most likely military base, we should say.
Yeah, that first circle got me all excited here, Blitz. There's not very many teams already on the island right now. It's Kinetic 7. As we know, usually NA and EU like to land down there in Sosnovka. But we are just seeing a run over on our screen.
Just
I'm going to personally try to get over to that action. As you see, unfortunate times here for one of the members of Kicked Out. That's our 3rd place team, losing a member early here. So showing you how important those drops are. You need to make sure you're landing on a car or you're landing safe. In Winner Circle, putting a quick point on the board, and that's important for them. They're in the top couple teams, I believe, hanging out in the top 5. So just a reminder to everyone, the top 8 from EU is going to move on to the finals. And we are paying out our qualifications as well. So the top, I believe, 4 or 5 teams are going to be taking home some decent money for qualifying as well, as you can see on your screen right there. Top 4 taking home a decent chunk of change as well as qualifying. But this is going to be an interesting first game, Blitz. Lots of teams are very far to the north side, hanging out around school, or in the Yasnaya area. A couple teams all the way north. It's always important to remember that the emergency pickups are now a factor in these matches. So what was a tough rotation can be alleviated with some of that pressure by the emergency pickups that we're seeing a lot oftentimes used.
Yeah, so exactly. And that's going to be huge for RMV on this one, and really Torch as well, because they're all the way up at Stalber if they can find one of these. I did see that in the newest patch that they're going to be kind of reducing the amount of those. I think, you know, they're being used fairly often in esports, but obviously we won't be playing on that patch. So they're still fairly accessible right now. And I think teams need to take advantage of it. If you've been following along in the previous games, sometimes there's games where we're seeing, you know, I feel like we've seen a game where there's been 4 or 5 or 6 of them used in a game, and then sometimes you only see, you know, 0 or 1 of them used in a match. And for this kind of zone, this can be really clutch to help a team get over to the military base. Obviously, you have the ferries as well and the boats, but that's going to be pretty important for some of these teams to rotate. And of course, if you're any of the teams on the island, go ahead.
Go ahead, Blitz. I was just saying I'm watching, I'm keeping a close eye on Code Red Gaming here, Team 16. They're kind of getting close to the bridge. I love that play by them, just kind of getting into a popular area. And it looks like they're going to kind of hang out on the north side of this bridge. As you can see, Spencer's kind of locking down this dip. That's a very popular spot just above this compound. And the rest of his team is kind of pushing a little bit more towards the south, locking down some of the gas station, perhaps going to send one up to Lighthouse right now. I love this spread by them early on because this is kind of setting them up for a north or southern shift. You know, they're in a good spot if it does shift to the north, and they're going to be in a great spot if all of the teams to the north side have to come over the bridge to the south. So I love this play by them. I think this is a new player. I was just actually in the chat. Code Red Aaron here is a player that is very well known in the EU scene. He's more commonly known as Sweeney. Used to play for a team called Avita. Widely recognized as one of the top players, so we'll have to keep a close eye on Code Red Gaming. They already picked up a kill here. I believe that was onto Team Euro. Aaron is kind of scoping out some of Team 6 who have pulled up into that dip that Spencer just left there, and it's his teammate Ollie that's going to be picking up a knock onto one of the Nitrous Esports players. Slayer is going to go down to the headshots. And it looks like Code Red Gaming is going to try to play this aggressive. Aaron is on the move. Traves, unfortunately, is still up at Lighthouse, but the rest of the boys are on the move here, Blitz.
Yeah, we have trying to see where the rest of NES is located. I see Jackal off here to the side. Ollie's up here. I was actually kind of fascinated by what you were saying there because a lot of players do kind of change their names for these events. So it's hard to track everybody, but I definitely do recognize that name, Sweeney, from the EU scene as a great player.
So we're on board with Ollie here, carefully poking around this edge. They know where the knock was, but that res has come up onto the Nitrous Esports members here, and they have actually gotten into vehicles. Yeah, Ollie's going to need to be careful here because Jackal is holding down the shack here, laying down some good shots to kind of help his team move out of that location. But Ollie with his second knock with the 4X Mini. Now Jackal's probably going to get killed here. The rest of his team has pushed on towards the east side over there towards the 6-packs here, Blitz. So it looks like the rest of Code Red Gaming now playing this a little more aggressive, pulling up in vehicles. So they're going to confirm that kill onto Jackal. Code Red Gaming getting things rolling early here with 2 quick kills.
Yeah, interesting situation. I was wondering, you know, because they have the bridge here. So I'm like, how far are they going to leave the bridge? They kind of want to hold this down and not get too separated. Also, for people that are just tuning in, again, this is game 1 right now of day 3 for the EU matches, NA versus EU Showdown. We had a little bit of audio stuff going on there where the audio, it actually wasn't on my side. I think the custom game for me was kind of lagging there. Now audio is working totally fine. So if you guys didn't hear any audio, that's why. But it looks like we're fully on go now, and we can see just the circle right now is a military base one. We have a care package, dropping in the very bottom back of the map here, and it looks like RLX might get this during their rotation. And then I'm also just keeping an eye, Stento, on these 2 or 3 teams that are bunched up on the top of the map trying to rotate into zone.
Yeah, I think we're seeing an emergency airdrop. I think Edge is dropping directly into military base. They're going to need to be very careful here. Some of the members of K7 are waiting for them back in the military base right now, Blitz.
Okay, I want to check that out. I just want to quickly see if that's what Torch is doing as well here. Are they taking a pickup? There is a visual glitch sometimes. It looks like they are. Sometimes it shows that they're in a car. So Torch will be coming in late on a pickup as well. Edge, as Stento just mentioned, dropped in. And looks like Anto just got zimmed down.
Yeah, Anto caught him off guard. Anto is up on the roof of this building. The rest of Edge landed near those 3 garages, and they're going to cut and run here. Unfortunately for Zim, landed a little bit too close to the enemy without the squad here, but the rest of the Edge members are going to take a little bit of comfort into this compound over here to the west side.
Yeah, so it looks like, again, the biggest decision when you're taking these pickups is kind of having a bona fide drop spot. And I don't know if there's miscommunication there, or they went to drop military and then saw K7 and kind of dropped out to the side. But this is how you lose a member or two, right? And it's kind of the risk. But there's also, like we talked about last week, same kind of risk reward as crashing a compound. You know, sometimes you see the people there, sometimes you see them last minute and you try to turn off and you lose a member. So it's kind of similar. But in this case, if you're going to the military base, it's almost better if you can't find a boat to take the pickup, right? I'd rather take a pickup than try to cross a bridge or be in a terrible spot. Almost everywhere is blocked off, Sento. Ferry Pier is blocked, so the ferry's being camped by TXC. Both bridges are being blocked. Multiple drop spots on the island, if you were to take a boat in, are already covered. So it does become a little bit more difficult to find an open area. There is a spot still left on the west side, though. There's 2 small compounds on the west side that are available.
And we talk about this so much, Blitz. The airlifts are like make or break. You need to make sure your team is going to land in the same spot to be able to deal with what could be below. And so right now we're kind of watching Torch take another one. Again, if you do take a quick look at your map, we hopped on board with them as they began this journey. And now they're all, looks like, going to land on the same bunker out here. So a good job to keep everyone up as they make this landing. Looks like Merc might grab a car. So they're going to be a decent spot over here in zone. Be waiting for this first shift as they deal with a little bit of spray over here from Ace Esports. Walshy hanging out at ATC, pretty far away from the rest of his squad, who's hanging out in the infirmary to the north of him here. But as we do take a look at our map, ladies and gentlemen, first shift is indeed coming down to the military base island. We have a little bit of the mainland still involved for this circle, so it's going to allow some teams a little bit of a delayed rotation. But as you can see, several teams hopping in their cars, beginning their next push into this phase 2 circle.
Have to look out for KO here, Sento. They're coming in. I'm going to tap on board with them. They're coming in from the blue. They have moved up the leaderboards for people listening all the way into 3rd place. I mean, they were in the bottom of the leaderboards, then moved into the top 8, and now into 3rd place. So this team is on the up and up right now, and they're in a tough spot because they're leaving Milta, and they have the Euro squad here covering the East Bridge. We'll also pay attention to what's happening elsewhere. We don't want to miss any action because soon we're going to start having some teams whittle each other down. We still have 17 teams, Sento, 61 alive, 11 minutes in.
Yeah, this was an interesting first game. A lot of teams losing a player or two early on. But there, again, it still is a full 17-team slate here, 61 players. And Blitz, I'm watching a couple players on the north side of the island try to sneak up onto Toxic EU right now, and they're gonna be met with a world of hurt. Sly saw every moment of it, and he takes Mercurial down with the AUG. Chap is there for the third, so now it's just one member here, and that's gonna be the long range shots from Full. A couple of quick kills coming out for Toxic EU there. Unfortunate for that ZES squad, really didn't have much of a chance, and we're already kind of
on board with RS here. They're in military base. There's a couple different fights going on, but I tapped in here because K7 is our leading team. They're tied for first, and RS, I think, also just might have got bumped out of the top 8 Central. I think they're in 9th right now. So this is a big fight for them pushing in. They're a great team, but they're just on the cusp right now.
Yeah, it's a great battle to switch to, and it looks like there's a knock on each side. Gav is down, and Denial is down, but they do get the revive off onto Denial, so it's going to be a tall order for K7 to get out of this here, but QDeck shows up just on time with the knock onto Pyro. So now, here you go, Tyro is also there, drops Spree, so now it's up to Traits and Denial to kind of turn this battle back onto its head.
Yeah, they're both downstairs here.
there.
Denial needed that knock. Didn't get it, though. Anto's also fighting with another team here, so that might help RS, but they need to get to their teammates, Stento.
Yeah, a little bit of a lag situation on the stairs there as the players try to pass through each other, but K7 holds super strong here, getting Gav back up, and now they're looking for the third step. They've already got Trace and Pyro going down, and there you go, a nice clean wipe. Tyro cleaning it up for his squad with the M4 red dot in his hands, takes down RS as one of our first teams out today, and they're going to pick up, I think, their 5th point already on the day, so impressive work from K7 in our first match.
Yeah, that seemed pretty even there, and then RS lost the member or two in the top floor and then completely lost kind of the, I don't know, the advantage that they had there. And then now AE is trying to fight again with K7. Anto's in the building by himself. They're in the bottom of C blocks then. So I'm going to tap in his perspective because, he's actually outside the building. The rest of AE is here. Walshy is in the middle C block building trying to crawl to his teammates, but they're not leaving the building. They do not want to mess with K7 right now, I don't think, Stento.
Yeah, you mentioned this as they were fighting their battle in the north C block, that Anto was trying to deal with this AE team on his own, and he's just been such a hassle for them. He just dropped the one that was in West Police, and now he's got 3 just kind of circling South C block looking for him. The support is all from the north side. The other 3 members of Kinetic 7 are all in that north C block, so kind of up to Anto to work his way back to the squad here. But just showing you what a top team like Kinetic 7 can really do, handling multiple fights at one time in like a difficult area like C block to fight as well. Yeah,
and you mentioned it perfectly. Anto smoked up so he could get to the middle, the west C block here, and then kind of get closer back to his team where they could hold both spots. Speaking of that, looking at the map now, the circle did a dramatic shift north. So most likely this zone will be eventually leaving the military base section of Sosnovka Island.
Yeah, I love our view right now. We can see a couple teams coming over that west side bridge. I think we mentioned it like 5 or 10 minutes ago. So KO has been kind of locked into their rotation here with Euro, who's just kind of holding the southern side of that eastern bridge. Those are really the only 2 teams who have a long way to go. We're just tuning into a battle here. Several knocks on the battlefield right now, and it's going to be Torch trying to get Merc up here. Fizz is smoking out his teammate. He's going to get that res. He's going to need a little bit of cover from the rest of his teammates. And as you can see, Stikas, one of our leading kill and damage players, takes down Luca. And this is a big battle here, Blitz. Going to kind of set the stage and pace for the day. Torch is one of our first place teams. T1 has been playing amazing in the first week of gameplay. I think one of our top 5 teams. And as you can see, if the Thirst has come out onto one of the T1 players who look like they're only down to 2 now. So gonna have to deal with, oh, there you go, wipe on the screen as well. I had to mention TXC down to Code Red Gaming, who's already off to a great start as well, but the fight on your screen is turning unfortunate for T1 here. Torch regrouped after they got some of these knocks, and now just kind of outnumbering the Kinetic 1 squad.
Yeah, you could say that's kind of unfortunate. I'm just kidding. Boom. Got him. But no, so Torch here, just to remind everybody, they are our second place, tied with second place with K7. So this was a big fight. They just had 2 members down. This could have really swung the other way, but what helped out was that T1 was already down to 2 players with that kill and flush. Now it's just Stickos running away, and Torch can try to make it into the zone here. So again, K7 and Torch tied for first going into this game. So both of these teams want to stay alive right now and keep that advantage for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a few seconds until we notice our phase 4 shift, which is pulled pretty far to the south, Blitz. We will eventually be coming out of the actual military base, but still got a little bit of real estate in there on the south side of zone right now. If you do take a look at your map, most of the teams are on the edge. There's one team center zone that's going to be RMV, but the rest of the teams kind of have to push their way into their respective edge here.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the map, everybody, there is just one little compound at the very top of this mountain, and then what really gets played here is this big ridge that Sosnovka, the text, kind of covers here. This is one of the most important ridges in this zone. A team usually will hold up here where Code Red is, but then eventually they normally have to come down from that ridge. So we'll see where people play. TXEU also has, there's a couple straggling compounds and buildings on the north side that people can play, but normally they have a tough time getting out of there because there's not much cover after you leave those buildings.
Yeah, that's a great point, Blitz. I want to bring your attention. I do see we have a little bit of a scrap going on here, but I want to bring your attention into military base. RLX on the southernmost side of it all. I have a great aerial view of this all, kind of watching them try to work through Winner's Circle, who has now joined up into C block. So we have 3 teams in C block and 1 team on the south side of it all, and just kind of watching these teams slowly push into each other. Ghost is going to be met by Anto with the AK there. Looks like he's going with the immediate Molotov, not going to connect.
Yeah, I'm tapping into Winter Circle now because they've pushed in past AE. AE has been kind of hiding in the bottom of C block. So Winter Circle's here. And then, like Sento mentioned, RLX is also going to be here. So we've 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in the area. This is going to get pretty hectic.
Yeah, 4 teams in the south side. Not all of them are going to be able to find their way out of military base. Right now, it's just been Anto playing such an important role for K7 as a little bit of a solo who's kind of meeting any sort of resistance from these other teams, and he keeps getting knocks and backing off and smoking his way back to the squad. K7 is now 4 deep at the northern C block, and we're tapped into Big Dog here, who's trying to hold down, make sure no one is creeping up on the south side C block as the rest of his team gets that revive onto Ghost. They're going to be back up to 4 deep here pretty soon, I think, Blitzen. It's only a matter of time before this turns into an absolute mess.
Yeah, so I'm a little surprised there. I mean, I get Big Dog playing the kind of watching everyone's 6 roll there. He had everyone's back, but they are not trying to take any more room. I think they heard AE shooting to their east, so they know that there might be 2 teams in the area because they're playing very close together right now. They're not really trying to gather or gain any more space because you think they might want to get somebody on to the radio tower onto the roof. I mean, the roof is dangerous, but they just have no visuals right now where they are locked in this building.
Yeah, why don't we wait a few minutes, Blitz? I got another fight that's about to break off on the west side of the map. Code Red Gaming and Edge. And it's your call, but there's actually one of our teams, Code Red Gaming, primed up perhaps for an asteroid listen in if you are prepared for that.
All right, let's hop in on Code Red. We'll be right back.
Weak as fuck on yellow.
Knock them.
On your rock.
One's behind us already.
3 of us. Oh.
All right, we hopped into Code Red there, but that fight went pretty quick, so I wanted to hop out, give them their room to kind of digest what happened there. As soon as we popped in, that fight happened very quickly. Edge lost a member, but they're going to get Prims back up, and they're going to be 3 strong on the west side by themselves. But again, what's tough here is trying to move in from this position sometimes can be pretty difficult, but they're going to have some time to regroup there, Sento.
Yeah, that was an interesting situation. Sometimes that's kind of just how it goes. They were playing it aggressive. They knew where Edge was, but a couple of interesting angles from Edge just kind of picked them apart pretty quickly there. So unfortunate for Code Red Gaming, who was off to a great start today, but they'll regroup for our second angle, and we'll see them in just a few minutes. But down to our final 9 teams, 28 players as we pass the 28-minute mark. And kind of turning our attention back towards C block and military base. We knew this was going to happen. It looks like WC, led by Paul here, are going to put the pressure onto a couple of RLX members who are already knocked over here. There's plenty of smokes on the ground here, but I don't know if they're going to expect this flank from Paul Linara here. This is a great play, Blitz. And there you go. As he comes out of the smoke, he kind of knew he was there, actually, but Paul still wins that 1v1. He's going to need to go prone.
Big prone here to cover. This is really strong for Paul. This team to stay alive, but he goes over with a jump shot, and it's going to get the flush. Almost gets the flush on Paul, but now he's in the zone. His teammates might be able to pick him up here, Stento, but now Winter Circle's going down. This could have been a huge win for them.
Yeah, that was a really interesting situation, and honestly a good play by that RLX member to just go get a kill as fast as they could there and jump over the wall. I think Winter Circle going to be kind of bummed that they didn't get out of there a little bit cleaner. I'm not sure Paul needed to push that far into the edge of blue to kind of get that kill. Kind of paid for it there, but Winter Circle still do have 2 up here. And now we're switching over to K7. 6 kills. They've lost QDex, their leading fragger here, and they're trying to work their way to the north here. Lots of third-party shots, mainly from AE, who is on the back right of them, putting down some pretty decent shots. And actually, the rest of K7 providing decent enough cover, so they're actually going to, with a little bit of help from Winter Circle, take down that final AE member. Nata is going out in 7th place.
Yeah, we always talk about this. K7 finds a way to kind of stay alive in so many of these crazy situations, but there you go. Anto going down. I think we might have watched Torch go down on that corner section. Torch and AE, I think, were both eliminated during all of that crazy fighting. And now Winner Circle looked like they were out, but now they kind of have K7 pinned with the help of some other teams here. The solo from T1 just got Gav, and it's just Tiro left in the middle here in the blue smoke, and Bueno and Ghost are right on top of him.
Yeah, gonna be hard for Tiro to get out of that situation there. As you see the solo for T1 eliminated in 6th place. And right now it's just too many angles onto Tyro here. Ghost and Bueno both holding. They're just gonna need to be careful for RMV, who have been a little bit quiet in that center compound for a while. Still focusing on this final K7 member who has found his way into the top 5 here. Spamming through the smokes, picking up a little bit of damage. No knocks yet, so just plenty of smokes. Gonna be able to hopefully continue this push, but it's gonna be a tall order as all eyes are on him from this Winner Circle team. But he gets underneath the ridge for now.
Yeah, and because Stickus is gone now, he has the area to get in here by himself and keep pushing to the east. Really, right now, it's TXEU are holding this side. I think they might have just got a fresh care package here. We'll take a look at what it is. It's a Groza. They've actually left it on the care package. Maybe someone else is going to go pick it up. But they have a Groza here. Winner Circle's trying to trail K7, the last member. And then we have Edge, who came down from that hill after winning out against Code Red. And again, we have our top 5 teams. So as soon as someone gets eliminated here, we'll be in the final 4, 12 alive, 24 minutes in. This is game 1 of day 3 EU. Just like that, Stento. They found him. K7 eliminated into our final 4.
Yeah, that all happened kind of quick in true fashion here, on par with our week 1. Usually we've been having a lot of teams up late until phase 4 or 5, and then we've seen it jump from 60 or 50 down to, you know, our final or 12, 20 players. It's been happening very quickly, and it kind of did there as well, Blitz. But right now, a couple of teams have been quiet on the north side. Mainly RMV got this compound a long time ago, and they're still kind of centered up. As you mentioned, Edge also very comfortable on this northeast side, having won that fight with Code Red Gaming in impressive fashion. In all honesty, I think this is kind of Toxic EU's game to lose. They're 4 deep with a couple of care packages up on that hill. But this is a very interesting dynamic with a couple of broken teams. Winner Circle's in a very interesting spot playing this ridge you mentioned before. So Toxic EU, gonna just need to be careful that they don't kind of step in too deep here and get multiple teams shooting at them at the same time, I think.
Yeah, what's tough about this, they have a Groza and an Om and some great, you know, tier 3 armor, is that no matter where they push, they're gonna run into another team. So if the circle leaves them, Toxic EU might have the hardest job right now, even though they're the only team with 4 strong, because they have to go through the most amount of players potentially. And Swift goes down, and Chap was rotating to the right here. He actually just spotted Edge, so now he knows that there's a team to their right. See, now they're getting they're getting knocked by multiple teams. Chap gets a knock, but it's not
on
the run with the on, but it's not on the right team, Stento. I mean, they're fighting too many battles right now, and this is what happens is they got a little too split. They didn't pick one direction to go, and they ended up in a 2-2 split, and both members on the east side are knocked now, Stento, and the circle did leave them in this situation. Normally, this side of this circle is the worst to play out of. I feel like the zone normally goes more towards those buildings.
Yeah, that was an interesting fight. We kind of saw it coming almost, that this was a nice 4-man, and they just need to make sure they don't kind of step in too deep or get involved in too many things. And unfortunately, as a couple of the members engaged Winner Circle, Chap and Full found themselves kind of peeking this Edge squad, and Chap actually hit a really nice running headshot. It's just not something that was going to be able to help out the rest of the squad.
Yeah, and just like that, it's anybody's game, Stento. I think Edge is in an interesting spot, but they need to worry that they don't do the same thing that Toxic EU just did. They need to stick together here and make sure that they don't over-rotate. I think they're going to just try to hold this position, but what could happen is they could get simultaneously pushed by Toxic on the left and Winner Circle on the right.
Yeah, every team is kind of broken down. There's 3 2-mans.
Chap with another Om.
Yeah, the chap is one person who knows how to use the Volty, and he puts one of the RMV members down. And at the same time, Foal gets a knock onto Edge Pammy. So they're, again, fighting multiple fights here.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to kind of tune into what's going on with Chat.
Chat might be
and,
moving
this
in.
push. Yeah, Tap is pushing on aggressive onto RMV here. He's going to get taken down by Deco there. Foal's going to need to be peeking this door.
He's weak, though. He's got a nade into the door. It looks good. It's going to take a nice bounce. It doesn't take out Deco, but one more nade might do the trick here, Stento. Deco somehow doesn't get eliminated. I think he was able to hop outside and avoid that nade damage. He actually got into the next shed. Now Foal's got a tough situation because he needs to heal and also get this revive off. Meanwhile, Winner Circle is pushing Edge, Stento. Trying to watch two fights at once.
This is such a crazy end. I'm trying to watch Foal.
I'm going to stick with Foal. He just goes down. He loses the fight. So it's just Deco left. And now we're going to hop over quickly to what's happening here with Edge, because they are on the edge and Winner Circle's on the push. We're going to tap into Ghost's view. He gets the
my
flush
gosh, he's got
there.
8 kills.
This is, Ghost with 8 kills out of nowhere. I mean, we were kind of following them here and there. Just didn't see those kills racking up that high. But he doesn't have a helmet and his vest is cracked. So they get that kill and then they say, you know what, let's back off. I think they realize here that it's a 2v1v1. I imagine so. A lot happened pretty quickly there.
Yeah, this all unfolded so quickly, and unfortunate for Toxic EU. I thought they were going to be able to get an 8 in there and get Deco, but holding strong as a solo there after losing his RMV teammate. But look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a 2v1v1, and right now it's kind of being the favor of this 2-man for Winner Circle. Ghost, as we mentioned, leading the way with 8 kills for his squad. No helmet, no vest. So truly anything can happen in the end here, as we're kind of just watching these Winner Circles members just jump peek, get a couple of different angles, make sure they're fully charged up. We've got 40 seconds until phase 8 circles up, and then we're going to go to our dot centered up circle, and a little bit of an end game lull. A lot happened really quickly there, and each of these teams here really do have a very legitimate chance to win. They're all aware that there's only 4 total alive. I'm sure they're all aware that it's more than one other team out there. So the dynamics to this end game are something unique we don't really see too often.
Yeah, what makes this kind of a lull happen is this zone. When you get a zone here, it slows down because of the angle, especially in FPP. This is like a little bit of a mountaintop here. So it's a pretty big ridge. Hard to see the enemies. This compound sneakily stays in late in so many zones, but now the zone is going to move in. Something to note is that RMV's got the barrel, Stento, and a level 3 helmet. 2 members of Winner Circle don't even have a helmet. So just the firepower on Deco alone, in a close range situation, you're going to want that barrel over almost any gun in the game.
Yeah, I love this overhead view. Now I love this view as well, because I think this is where the action is going to be. It's RMV Deco kind of wrapping the edge.
He might not even see. He doesn't even see Edge there playing the edge. He just had that nasty ridge laying down. So now it's just Edge. I mean, he knows it's the 2 guys at Winner Circle because they took out the rest of his team. So now the pressure's on
the move. Wasting no time at all, pushing up on this final member for Edge. Pammy playing sneaky on the edge there, does get that quick kill onto Deco for RMV. So RMV out in 3rd place. And now it's up to Pammy to get a little 2v1 situation. An absolute Kobe onto Ghost Blitz.
And Edge Pammy still has 1 more nade, Stento. So he can use this to solidify this kill or go for another one. I don't really love that placement, Stento. I think it's going to be a little short. I think he should have saved that for Bueno, Stento.
I love the play by Bueno, sitting back. Edge wants this thirst here, has actually finally located Bueno there. So what was a really good play by Bueno. Some nice peeks here from Pammy.
I think he sees obviously that he doesn't have the helmet though, so that has to give a little confidence, but neither does Pammy. Pammy doesn't have a helmet as well now. They both don't have helmets.
Yeah, these peak battles could be ended any moment here with the lack of gear. It's a true 1v1 situation as Pammy tries to handle the final member of Winner Circle. A little bit of a stun is going to be what we try here. Got both members, I believe. Actually, maybe more. Pammy actually stuns themselves, I believe. Unfortunate there, but Winner's Circle with a very strong two-man hold to close that game out. That's going to be 13 kills and the chicken dinner going to one of our more veteran teams in the scene. Edge, led by Pammy there, picking up 7 kills and a second place. In rounding out the first match of the evening is RMV, 2 kills, both to Deco there.
Oh, very nice. We're going to bring it over to our post-game screen here. What's up, everybody? I'm Blitz5 with my buddy Stento over here. Thank you guys for tuning in to round 2 and day 3 of the NA versus EU showdown. This right now is the EU portion of the event. So welcome in on that. Again, Winner's Circle just took the first game. And right now they dropped down into 4th place, but they're still in the top 8. So they got to be stoked about that win. Edge, I just checked, is actually on the backside of the leaderboard, Sento. There, I think in 15th place. So coming in 2nd place has got to be a great momentum for them. And a lot of times, as you know, it could just be, you know, maybe day 1 or day 2, you get off to a bad start and then your momentum is just not that great. So all you need is a good start to maybe push back up through the leaderboards. To kind of make your way up into the top 8, you know?
Yeah, you made some great points, and the couple things that I want to touch on is that Winner's Circle, we're already in the top 4 or 5 teams, so that's going to bring them very close to first, second with both K7 and Torch up around 112 points or something it was. And the other thing that we need to keep an eye on is those top 8 spots. We had a very hotly contested from like 6th to like 12th or something. So there's going to be a lot of shifting going on and around that area. We'll make sure we keep you guys updated with tons of different leaderboard updates. But a massive game for Winner's Circle. They were the only team that kind of got out of military base. We were keeping an eye on that. There was 4 teams in there. We knew it was going to be a messy rotation for all of them. In Winner's Circle, they lost a member or 2, kind of, you know, in a way we thought that was like it didn't need to happen. Pole could have probably survived without pushing too far. But they got a little aggressive for the kills. And I guess it was just a really good job by Ghost and Bueno to just be very patient as a 2-man, pick up what they could. And they did some really good job kind of rotating in and out of battles in the end game there to clutch up, to clutch up for Winner's Circle.
Yeah, and you really don't see a lot of 1v1s. Out of all the games we've spectated, you don't see a lot of them end 1v1. Normally it's 1v. It was 1v2, but to see that final end like that was awesome. But we're going to get game 2 set up, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes.
7 just sitting pretty in the Harry Potter tower for basically the entire game.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is, Stento, earlier I said I was surprised that K7 was doing this. I'm like, wait, what is their goal taking the center compound so early? But turns out they knew more than we did, and they had the center spot. Right now, we just tuned in to Aaron, and Code Red getting taken out, stuck on the west side.
Yeah, we kind of saw this happening. I was calling it out that they had to push into the same side as RMV and Platinum 7, and as we expected, kind of holding strong here. These 2 teams working together to take out Code Red. Gaming out in 10th place. RMV getting Deco up here. They've already got 6 kills. They just need to be careful because Platinum 7 looks like they're curious, potentially pushing onto the smoky scene that we're watching here. Deco's going to get the first aid off. And gosh, this is a lot going on this side right now. RMV Takashi's kind of leading the way up into this fight here. They're right in front of P7. This is a great area to be. Takashi's got the 3x on the barrel. He can't make it happen yet. These teams are on top of each other. Takashi's put down weak by that grenade. Deco's kind of overwatching from the backside, but yeah, Takashi playing point here a little bit, and Deco pushes up too far. It's going to be Bonnie with the Rosa taking him down, and that thirst is going to come out instantly from the rest of those P7 members, so Takashi kind of forced to back off. They're dealing with 2 teams here now, Blitz. Joining up on the backside is Team Euro. Hacker doing an amazing job to hold them off. Drops Sensei.
Pushing left here. Knows there's someone at this tree. Using smoke really well to his advantage.
It's just Takashi and Hacker now as one of the Euro members knocked Manu. I'm not sure they're going to be able to get that revive off. As you can see, Hacker is looking every single way like a sentry right now, just firing in every single direction that he sees, trying to hold off P7. trying to hold off Team Euro. It's actually P7 in the end that picks up that kill onto Hacker. Euro Nocino picks up the kill onto Takashi. So now we're going to see another fight just kind of work its way into this side between P7 and Euro. But look on your map as well. Torch is pulling up on the north side. At least a few members are trying to figure out what's going on here. They're working their way out of the compound. They've got their vehicles and all sorts of AR sprays coming down onto this. It's Luca picking up a kill onto Nocino. So this is non-stop action on the northwest side of Zone Blitz. Just team after team keep pushing into the edge.
Yeah, and Euro here, there's no way they have regrouped since that last fight. Sensei's the last one left. Just got a great ace spray onto Merc there. Can they cover to get Merc picked up? They're trying to put some shots through the smoke.
Torch is one of those teams that does a great job of getting the revive off fast as possible as they can onto their teammates, and that's long range shots coming out from, I believe, Luca there to get the final knock onto Nocino. A little bit of help from Fizz as well from the southernmost angle there, but now P7 have started to rain fire down onto this side onto Torch. Another knock, so Torch is just doing all they can to stay deep as a 4-man here. So I believe it's another fight about to break down on the northeast side. We got K7 and Winter Circle. Those two teams have been there all day, Blitz. It looks like one knock has already kind of broken out here. They're going to be able to get the res off there, I think. We've just tuned into this fight. So there you go. Big Dog is going to get the heal off. They're smoking to cover the third party right now, but a big fight's about to break out between two of our top teams in this division.
Yeah, we're
laying down some nice 4x shots with the Groza. He's not going to connect. They're going to actually lose Bueno here to maybe zone. I didn't see exactly what happened here, but the blue is pushing these guys uncomfortably into K7. So Ghost gets a knock onto QDeck. That's a big one. A great flank on the north side from Ghost and from Big Dog, who's continuing to hold off P7 and Torch simultaneously with some great shots from Big Dog. He actually gets Fizz. So as you can see, down to 1 health. All of the different teams, all of the different things these players are forced to do with the third parties being involved in a big nade from Tyro actually gets a knock onto Big Dog. Pole is there to kind of watch as Ghost goes for that instant revive, but it's just too succinct of a push from K7, stacking as a full 3, maybe a 4-man there. I'm not sure if they lost. Yeah, they did lose QDeck, so just a nice 3-man push from Kinetic 7 there, picking up their 6 total kills. And just like that, down to our final 4 teams here, Blitz.
Yeah, we have a 4v4, v3, v1, and that was a great push together because Pole was there getting those stuns, and they just pushed as he was still getting those stuns down. If he got him out just a second earlier, it might have saved him, but it was just
you could almost hear the comms. Pole was like, I'll watch you as you get the revive, but it was just too many teams. Too many members for Kinetic 7 pushing over the top. Is that a double drop in the center, Blitz?
This is a double drop. I actually missed the second one. Thank you for pointing out. Garoza and a P90. This is a nice refresh for any team that pops into it. Unfortunately for NES here, Slayers, he's probably the closest along with Toxic, but he's just the last one left. So going to be hard to kind of go for that. He's going to be kind of ratting out there in that shed for a little while. I think P7 is kind of the team to watch right now because they're not in the zone. They need to push up here. They have a little bit more of this ridge to their east, but Toxic is really kind of buried into the side of this mountain. So they're definitely the team to beat for them, as K7 is going to have a moment to regroup and get back into this fight.
Yeah, Toxic EU's got a really interesting location here. Dips kind of stink if you hear early game, but in this situation, Swift is in such a good position, but it's actually Ivix's who finds Sly, one of like the centermost members for Toxic EU. So this might open the door for Platinum 7 to kind of push onto it. They've been having a good game with 6 kills already. Ivix is trying to figure out where Foal is, if he's pushing for the res or not. The rest of the team is pulling up alongside of him. They're kind of working their way in through the top side. Ivix switches to the Bolty and hits a headshot onto Chap. Wow, Ivix leading the way for Platinum 7 here. He knows where Foal is. He saw him go. He's laying down spray through the smoke. They almost get that knock on a Foal. Ivix is doing everything he can here. 3 knocks to the man himself, and it's just 1 member on the low side. Swift has gotten that revive onto Sly, so they're back up to 2 now, Blitz. Ivix continues to peek over the top. This man has been on a mission here with the long range knocks. AR, Bolty, it doesn't matter what he's using, Blitz. It is working for him.
Yeah, playing very well. No Mercy goes down. It was a great 3-time spray before with the M4. Circle is closing up. They're right on this edge.
This is just such a tough area to play, and Toxic EU is just dug in there like ticks. It was Sly that put down No Mercy, and the rest of the team is on the high side, so I don't think they're going to be able to get that res off, as the angles from the low side of Toxic EU are just too much to risk running down that hill without a proper amount of util. So Bonnie and the rest of the squad kind of hang out on the top side here. They need to be careful as K7 begin to get angles. I couldn't have said it sooner. They might have time to get this revive off if they do have enough knocks, but this might open a little bit of a door for K7 to push in. As you can see on your map, Anto is leading the boys directly over the north side. He's got a Groza in his hand. Let's get into Anto's perspective. We've seen this man do so much work today. He's got the red dot on the Groza, and there's just too much smoke on the battlefield for him to really locate.
Yeah,
no
lethals for Anto, but P7 is just completely backed in to the little nook of a circle that they have here on the very top. So they've got focus from both teams here. Looks like just two members left. Bonnie's on the very top, almost going down. Ivix still fighting, scrapping his way out, even though they're in the worst possible spot.
Yeah, unbelievable. Eventually, Ivix gets taken down, and it's just Bonnie here. Tyrone knows it's just one player. Pushes over the top. Now he's looking for Toxic EU. He finds Sly, puts him down to about half health as Foal is going for the revive. There is an interesting dynamic. You have to pay attention to the solo. When is the Nitrous Esports player going to get involved? This might turn into a 3v3v1 if Toxic EU is able to get this res off, but it's a good flank from Gav and Tyro already pushing down on the low side. It's just such interesting dips that Toxic EU has. And there you go, Sly. Been doing it all game with that AUG. He drops Tyro, and these dips are just so advantageous to play out of that you can't really over peak. Especially with this Toxic EU team. They've made several teams pay now for peeking over the top. Anto is already there on the res onto Tyro through the smoke and fire. I think that res is going to come off you now. Anto has to back off. It was another Molotov that dropped on. Anto is almost one shot down there.
Yeah,
Gav is kind of watching over the top. Toxic EU beginning to pick K7 apart. You have to wonder when that solo for Nitrous Esports is going to get involved. He might just be looking for that second place and be pulling out his out of that shack as late as possible. He's begun his journey up the hill, but he's seems to not really want to get involved here. So a little bit of a 3v2 stalemate between Toxic EU and K7 as we watch Gav. He's got such a good position on the top side, but the thing is, Foal and Swift are already almost center zone here, Blitz. So as you can see, that dip is just such a good spot for them to be in right now, and they've got Sly kind of anchoring the west side as he's been just knocking everyone with that AUG.
Yeah, little does Sly know that he could definitely come in from behind and kind of mess with them because their Toxic's focus is all north. I've been stuck in this dip before, Sento. It's not as fun when you're there because your visuals are just... You have no visuals, but having Sly on the backside is basically giving the rest of his team eyes here, at least Swift that is. And now, because they got Anto there, I think it was Anto, making this a 3-2 fight is big. I mean, the numbers in this circle are huge right now. So the fact that K7, no longer have 3 puts them at a big disadvantage. And I think that's why we're seeing them back off, because this is hard for them to hold with just 2 members. And if you look at the zone, Toxic EU is taking over most of it now.
Yeah, I love this push by Sly. He's eventually going to get to the rest of the squad here. So now they're all able to play this dip, and as you can see, they're able to play a nice spread here as Foal's all the way on the south side, just making sure no one flanks to this edge. There is a solo down there, but they seem kind of uninterested in getting involved until things start to kind of break out here between K7 and Toxic EU. So phase 8 gonna touch up in 27 seconds, and then we'll know exactly that dot's gonna be pretty close to where we see Toxic EU in the center zone here. So it's only a matter of time before these teams are forced into each other. I just watched one of the K7 members pick up that P90 on the other side of the map. So that's a big play. I think it was Gav who put that in his hand. So K7 strapped here with a Groza and a P90. Toxic EU, they've got the better position. It's time to make some plays, Blitz.
Going to be leaving this ditch here. I think you said it well. I'm going to watch Anto right now because he's got this rock. He has to come off, and he's going to have the hardest spot. So he didn't want to take this. He's going back to the rock. I thought he would maybe play aggressive and push to the right, but it's also very dangerous because it might put him 1v3. So he's going to go more center. K7, our first
love the
place
P90.
team. Me too, Stento. One of my
Endgame
favorite
P90.
guns, especially in this situation. If you're gonna
Let's see
do
what he
it,
can do with it.
if you're gonna pull off a miracle, this is the best gun close range to have in the game in this kind of
They're
final zone
outnumbered,
situation.
so you can't minimize the effect of having 50 in the clip here. He's going to be able to take down 2 members if he needs to with that many bullets. It's going to be really interesting to see how big of a role this solo plays. He's lobbing grenades at Toxic EU right now. I'm not seeing any damage coming out, so it's just a little bit of a slow time will tell this tale situation.
Yeah, K7 has no throwables either. They've 1 smoke, no lethals, 1 smoke between them. Gav has 0.
I love Gav's position here.
Whoa, Gav
Spot
goes down
Slayers.
from Slayers. The solo actually takes out the duo instead of the trio.
Wow, that is such a big play from Slayers. And now kind of opening the door. He drops one of the members from Toxic EU now. So now it's
Now
up
Anto
to
takes out the
Anto.
other, and he's going to go for the quick flush. It's a
It's a
1v1 here.
here.
He knows it. He spotted
Full
full
versus
there
Anto.
through the smoke. His teammate's still up, though, so he's got to risk going for this flush. And then quick response time, he looked right back at the smoke as soon as he got that flush. Gav is still up, potentially giving a little bit of information. Stun's going to go through. He wants to push on this. He got the stun, but there was just a centimeter off there, Stento, just to the left. And Foal comes down with the kill. Couldn't get on target.
You could tell Gav was giving him comms, told him that the tree was where he was. He threw the stun and pushed for it, but I don't think, as you mentioned, I don't think the stun landed in full with a big 1v1 win there, shutting down the Groza push of that final member of K7. I believe it was Anto there. So unbelievable end. It's going to be 9 kills and the chicken dinner going to Toxic EU. K7 with a solid round, 10 kills and the second place. Rounding out our top 3 of that match is going to be Nitrous Esports with 3 kills.
Yeah, very nice. It's got to be really exciting for all those teams there. Toxic EU, who have been kind of battling in and out.
My chair right now.
Yeah, that was exciting, man. I mean, to see that, I think it was Gav there, was just like a centimeter to the left. He was kind of in between the tree and in between full there. We all know what that's like on console. Once you kind of get set on a player and lean into somebody, it's hard to make those minor adjustments, right? And that's the difference between winning and losing a final fight there. But it was really well played.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Just a lot of individual skill on display there with those challenges. I didn't really think the solo was going to have much to say there, but drops Gav and then drops one of Toxic EU. So really threw a shakeup for both teams there in the fun ending on that mountain hillside there. Toxic EU taking a nice chicken. But we're heading over to the Dusty Desert. We got 2 matches on Miramar. Match 3 is going to be coming to you guys in just a minute, so just stay tuned.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be right back. GG's, everybody. All right, welcome everybody to game number 3 of day 3 for the EU portion of the NA versus EU showdown. Right now, we'll take a quick look at the playing path, but I also do want to go into the scoreboard. This will not include the current last game that we just played, but it'll show you guys kind of where we're at right now. Also, want everybody know and send my apologies. We had a little bit of a hiccup with Twitch, so we lost connection for about like 5-10 minutes of that match, but we're all back up and running, and we were able to catch the end portion of that game, which was great. So sorry about that. Everything should be resolved now. And as we look, so this was just after game 1, and game 2 should update as we're into this match. Kinetic 7 pulling into the lead by only 3 points, though, because they were tied at 1 point there. Winner Circle has moved into the 3rd spot. They're going to be battling it out with Kicked Out, I think, back and forth here, but they got a pretty good lead by 15 points. Winner Circle has really came out strong today. Kicked Out not as much so far today, but there's still 3 more games. And you guys can take a look at the rest of the leaderboards there, and we'll be sure to kind of keep checking in as things update and move forward. Again, going back to our first Miramar match of the day today, we have a really interesting playing path from Campo Militar all the way down to Los Higos, 2 places that I know Stento and I would love to see the circle go to Campo Militar or even Los Higos, 2 exciting places. Pretty high probability we're going to see a Eastern type zone. And again, if you guys are just tuning in, this is game 3. I'm Blitz5. We're hosting the NA versus EU showdown on my channel, Blitz5 and Friends. And I'm here with my friend, co-host, and founder of Main Gaming, Mr. Stento.
Yeah, it looks like the players are dropping out of the plane path here. We are almost down to Los Higos. Almost got an empty plane. And an early jump from Toxic EU, our winners from last round. Something that jumps out really quickly to me. I don't exactly remember where Toxic EU is on the leaderboard, but that win is going to be very big for them, jumping them up into that top 8 conversation. I know that I think they're already there. I'll need to take a quick peek here, but a big game for them. Some clutch plays from several players, holding off K7 there to clutch that chicken. But Miramar is a different story. It always is. These teams are, pretty familiar with each other, not only from other events, but from week 1 of this event. They've played a decent amount of Miramar versus one another, but look at that Blitz. Wow. We asked for it, and it's possible. We might be heading down to prison Los Higos. Several teams are in a really good spot right now. RMV, Edge, P7, and ZES, 4 of those teams. And gosh, our winners from last zone up in Tierra Blanca, last match. Several other teams in the San Martin, Crazy Town area, just very difficult rotations for these teams to get into this zone.
Yeah, and I quickly just want to bring up the scoreboard because Toxic is going to be very interesting to watch now. So there's 2 Toxics. The Toxic we're talking about is Team Toxic in, I think, 8th place. So with that last match, that's going to be helping them out a lot, Stento, to solidify potentially being in the final 8. So really important for them. If you're on that cusp right now, you're worried about, how many points you're scoring day in and day out. You want to be in a more comfortable position. So definitely a good team to root for.
Yeah, and there's several things to keep an eye on there. We have $500 going to the top 4 places for the qualifiers. So those top 4 is going to be what a lot of teams are trying to get into. But the most important thing is make sure your team gets into the top 8, because that is when it's going to punch your ticket into the finals, where the additional $4,000 and the chance to represent your region, whether that's EU or NA. The entire point of this tournament is we are pinning these 2 regions and pinning the finest of these 2 regions against each other in a $5,000 event. And this final is going to just be out of control because there are some good teams for both of these regions. And again, it's going to be hotly contested to get into those top 8 places and find your way into the finals, into those money rounds, where things really start to get spicy on the prize pool side of things. But no action yet, Blitz. We see several teams. If you do take a peek at your map, there's several teams in the Los Leones area. We'll have to keep an eye on how they evacuate. But I've kind of just got my map up right now. I'm taking a look, making sure we keep an eye on any teams using those emergency airdrops, or potentially any teams rotating close to one another. But A little bit of an early game lull here, Blitz.
Yeah, I wanted to why there is a little bit of a lull, kind of show people, because I was confused for myself for a second. So right here, this is Team 14. This is Toxic Esports. So this is Frozen, Benjoy, Tazy, and Shang-Di. And then the team that won last match, this is just Team Toxic. So we have Toxic Esport versus Team Toxic, kind of a tongue twister because it's very similar. The way you guys can remember is their clan tag is TXEU, the winners of last match. They're currently in 9th place, and Toxic Esport is TXC. They're currently in 13th. So if you want to be Toxic or root for the Toxic teams, you have two teams just on the cusp of top 8 again. Just giving some people to root for. I always mention these games are always more fun when you have a team to root for, and it's kind of exciting if you root for a team that maybe isn't in the top 8, because that would be exciting for them to make it in there and kind of shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great point. The entire point of this series is just to start to shine on these players, man. We really love to shine some light on these teams in different organizations. Lots of them have been playing for a while. Lots of these teams have been playing together for a long time, and it's just impressive to watch the level that they really take it to. So a big thing we like to make sure everybody realizes is that all of these teams are streaming this event on at least a 5-minute delay. If you are looking for any sort of players or teams streams, please don't hesitate to ask, and we'll have our moderators in both our Discord and in the chat try to figure out exactly which stream you're looking for and get you that link. But take a look at the map, Blitz. Lots of teams starting to rotate. Toxic EU, who we've been talking about a lot, all the way on the north side. TXC and T1 are getting into a little bit of a frenzy as they drive through here. RLX, who we got a very interesting look at last game as well, rotating along the west side of the map.
And watch them right now.
Just a ton to keep an eye on here. And it looks like Donley leading the way with the bike. They're going to have a lot of real estate to work with as they kind of work their way down the south side, down that west road going north to south. No one's really at the intersection. No one's really near the bridge yet, although I think that's ZES kind of creeping their way through the city towards that bridge. So many teams just on the move right now, Blitz.
Oh, look at this. TXC is getting very close with, but it's just funny. Both Toxic teams are about to run into each other on a crazy rotation. They're both going to the very north side of the map. They're just outside of Oasis right now.
This is insane.
Shang-Di, they caught him. It looks like they lost a tire maybe on that previous fight, so they're actually switching seats. Benjo is up there trying to get some shots from the top of the motorcycle, but Toxic is just continuing on. They don't want to fight here. Of course, Circle's coming in. They want to try to get down as quick as possible. Meanwhile, we're seeing a bunch of teams. You look at the map, kind of group up in this section of the map. We're also seeing a team at Valley Del Mar that we might need to check up on, but we got K7 here. Edge in a great spot. Right behind them, I think, is P7 as well, and Winner Circle right below us here, all taking these middle compounds, which are really good spots to have in this kind of zone.
We haven't lost a single player yet, Blitz. I wonder what's the longest a PUBG Esports match has ever gone without dropping a player, but we're 7 minutes and 30 seconds in. We've still got a full 17 team lobby with all 68 players alive.
Yeah, this is pretty rare for Miramar.
It's pretty rare for console because we deal with lag outs and all that type of stuff that is just stuff that is out of our control, but it looks like everything's holding up good here. Watching Torch and T1 kind of rotate around the top of this zone here, trying to perhaps find an edge and figure out where the second shift is going, please, to the south. But we'll just have to wait and see. There's a lot of teams as you look around Val de Mar there as well, getting pretty comfortable, getting prepared to make that either north or south shift.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where Torch is going to go because KO just took this valley compound. Torch might stay up top on the ridge or keep going. Winner Circle is doing a really big 2-2 split center. That's such a big 2-2 that they won't be able to help each other. Pole is going for a care package. And this one is a FAMAS, so we'll have to remember that he's got one because we know I love spectating anybody using the FAMAS. Also, T1 is rotating past Euro. Euro's getting really good shots, Stento. They might get Kiss out of the car. I just snapped in at the right time here. Kiss goes down. Sticka's going down to half health. this is really going to stop their rotation or at least slow it down. The other two members, I think, kept going. Stikos gets taken out from Bosnian from a long-range M4, but there were some initial mini shots there that really helped that out. So T1's going to lose 2 members on rotation. Actually, it's just the last member Infernix because the other member was way not with the team.
Yeah, impressive shots coming out of Bosnian there, I believe, with the M4 spray, both close and long range, picking up those kills. So,
oh yeah,
big hats off to that Euro squad there. Good
and
shots.
Another team is actually about to pass the same way. I wonder if they know what just happened here because this is toxic.
Oh, here we go. Let's watch Bosnian raise.
We're on top. We're getting some initial shots. We're going to tap into Bosnian right now. Trying to go
Got
for another
3X
spray.
on the M4. There you go. Switching it over to the red.
Tire goes out.
Where you going for?
Murado's flipping.
Oh, get the smokes out, my friend. These long range shots from Bosnian aren't connecting though. They're a little bit of damage coming out now.
He's going.
Starting to put it together. Bosnian does get that knock. Actually, I'm glad we got into his perspective. Took him a little bit to connect, but the rest of Toxic EU are winners from the last match. I believe 2 knocked, maybe 2 thirsted already. Blitz. It was Sly who actually put Bosnian down to half health here, but he's going to get a heal up. And there you go. Phase 2 has shifted hard down to the southeast. Los Higos, we were calling for it. It's still in Blitz, but so many teams are out of zone. Look at Chumacera. Look at Valdemar. There's probably 10 teams outside of zone as I don't know, 4, 5, 6 is kind of centering up here very nicely. Edge, Winner's Circle, Nitrous Esports, and of course K7 always doing a good job of getting themselves in a nice, comfortable spot centered up. I feel like K7's in that coast mode, you know? They come out so hot and they get so many points, and then, you know, when they're in first, it's just like we're going to be center zone all the time here, and we're just going to kind of frag out from this spot, you know? I feel like K7 NA does the same thing, but looks like they're kind of taking a little bit of a 2-2 split now along the coast. So keep an eye on K7 along the coastline, as we often do. But several teams starting to rotate into this area, Blitz. We might see some action.
Yes, and there's such a good point, man. You're right. They get a lead early on, and then they go into coast zone. And when they need to play aggressive, they will. But it's important for them to just stick with the placement and play consistent. Once you're on top, you just need to be consistent.
Looks like RLX might be getting a little bit too close here. Let's see what's going on.
I'm gonna tap in.
Donley,
this could be good for them because there's only 2 members here.
Yeah, they're gonna need the whole team to get here. K7 might want to try to get on a roof or into an advantageous position here, but long range shots from P7. So it's a third party that's actually starting to make this a little bit uncomfortable for RLX. I'm not sure how much information they have on the team that's already in here. How much do they know about K7, which is backed up into just that 2-story? It looks like QDex and the rest of the squad are going to take a car to try to help. You can see wrapping in the Murado right now, but RLX has a very interesting situation here all over these ridges already. QDex and Anto are pulling up here, Blitz. So now this is a great view just to kind of see all the different angles that these teams have on each other. As you can see, Gav and Tyro were totally reduced to this 2-story here. And as a good team will, they'll try to pull up and kind of help out this squad. We kind of watched Edge consider the same thing on the Wrangle match. They had one member stuck in between a whole team and they never really were able to help out. So I love to see K7 pull up and try to make sure that they're supporting their 2-2 split that they just had. And Gav opens things up onto Vanstar with the knocks, straight headshots onto the that member of RLX.
Molly.
And now things just got a little bit spicy here.
The Molly hit 2 members of K7.
Several members.
Now would be a good time to push here. Don Lee is backing up. The other 2 members are in the long building though, Stento. Not providing much cover, especially because they're all out of the 2-story building now. They're all onto Don Lee. They're moving as a unit. RLX did the 2-2 split in the compound, and it's going to not pay off for them. Little did they know they had such a great opportunity to maybe get this building surrounded or play more aggressive because only 2 members were there, but they kind of went in slow, and now they lost 2 members.
I feel like when a team is playing, you know, like K7 reduced themselves to that 2-stack. You got to realize that that's not a full 4-man early and play aggressive. Unfortunately, they weren't able to make that happen, and the rest of K7 showed up on time and just start getting some timely knocks here. But snapping over to the other side of the map, TXC in a little bit of a skirmish here.
Yep. They're pinched between 2 teams.
RMV.
Frozen going for a nade.
Not going to connect on any of these grenades, but the AK shots of Shang Di do connect. However, he was a little bit too far up. Manu knocks and thirsts him out. So Frozen and Tazzy here, a little bit of a whirlwind situation here, trying to just stay up as a two-man here, but they've again got Torch and RMV on both sides here. And as you can see,
Torch is on the
once we
move.
take this aerial view here, RMV's got the low side ridge and Torch is kind of wrapping the backside here. So actually a good play, as you saw one of the members of TXC try to push kind of up and away from there, but it's going to be Tazzy who's just totally pinned in this smoke, and an absolute dime from Hacker is going to take him down. Do they realize Torch is pushing? I'm not sure, Blitz.
I think Manus might have spotted somebody here. No, because he's turning around. You know, he finally spots that there's people there. He knows he's got to get into cover. He's running backwards. I want to get into Hacker's view and Deco because they're on the front lines right now. Deco almost goes down, but gets a nice lean spray onto Fizz. Lucas here also goes down from Deco, getting a nasty double kill there with only 20 health.
Clean spray there through the grass. Oh, it's long range. Ivix, we saw him use the bolt from last game. Takes down Deco. Kind of opening the door.
Yeah, the third party's on RMV.
Here, but nope, too many third parties, and Euro actually takes down that final member for Torch here. So it's third party central up on this ridge. The angles, they don't stop here, Blitz. This member's in the blue for Euro. There's teams fighting hand in hand. There's long range shots. It just really doesn't stop. We're taking a peek at Platinum 7 now on the top of the hill, also dealing with long range shots from Edge way on the east side of the map here, but they've got plenty of smokes. They're going to be able to get that res onto Bonnie. Holy smokes, Blitz. Things just happen quick in this EU side of things. Teams stay up so late, and then it just seems to just pop off.
Sento, that was like a fifth or sixth party there coming in from all these teams. Euro, there was a solo. They're still in the blue, Sento. RMV gets two members up. I didn't realize. I thought it was a solo Euro. It's a whole team. The whole Euro team is in the blue here. Phase 3 is closing, and so they're going to want to get in as quickly as possible. Somehow there's three members of RMV. I thought they had lost most of their team there. I guess that extra third party from Edge really gave them some cover from P7. They just crashed into this truck, though. They're barely going to survive here. Look at this. Deco's going down. They're all going to get wiped from Euro and the blue there, doing most of the damage.
Big kills from Nocino there, picking up 3, all of them.
Yeah, they
maybe
were
4. Was it just 3 members?
Yeah, they were super low health. I think they got team shot a little bit there, and then Nocino was just in the right place in the right time with that mini to accurately hit those shots in the backside of the truck, which doesn't give much cover. You know, when it's driving away, it's so open on the backside. And check out the circle. All the teams on the West Sento and people watching are struggling, making it in, and the circle just keeps dramatically shifting to the east. At one point, the whole the whole prison island was in this zone. If you're just tuning in now, so this circle is shifting dramatically.
Yeah, Blitz, you just tuned into, sorry to interrupt, you tuned into the right spot. Euro came in from the edge of blue. Their car was flipping through the air, and players like hopped out while it was in midair. So players went flying. Godly was down, and P7 is just in the perfect spot to kind of get this clean little squad wipe here. It's just going to be one member for Euro that's kind of hanging out on the top side. Ivix finally picks up that kill. It's just Bosnian who's been fragging out. I think Euro picked up a ton of kills in this game, so it's not a complete loss, but Bosnian reduced just to that shack there now. And the third party starting to hit No Mercy in the back side here, so he has to kind of regroup, go prone and take some heals. They do get that kill onto Bosnian here. It was Steels, or I believe No Mercy, that picked up that final kill. And elsewhere, COR versus ZES is just a massive bloodbath in this battle here.
Just tuning in there, and Code Red is already down. 3 members of ZES are down. It's just Mercurial trying to leave, but the zone's going to pass him. This is phase 4, Stento. He's stuck up against that car, but Chapson also in a tough spot as well because he's trying to run in. Mercurial's going to go down to the blue, and Chap's not going to have an easy way in either. P7's got to make their way in. Edge is shooting. They're not even focused on getting in right now. You think they would already have 2 people set up across the street, right, Sento? This is not a good idea that they're just standing here. They need to send a person or 2 over. Pammy's going to go over right now, but I think, again, this would be smart. Though now they're getting in the whole truck together. P7 might have a shot on this, so I'm going to tap into their perspective. They see some smokes down the street. Care package. K7's across the way as well, so this is not going to be easy for them.
Yeah, and they're actually leaving just in time. P7 was coming over the top of these ridges. And a little bit of luck there to kind of get out at the right time, not to get shot when you're getting into the cars. P7 is on the edge here, but they're doing a nice job of staying together as a 4-man. They've actually got a couple of vehicles to work with here, and they've already got 6 kills on the board. So what was a slow start for this Platinum 7 in week 2, we're seeing a lot of good plays out of them. In week 1, and we're seeing a lot of good plays out of them now in week 2.
Yeah, for sure. They're playing strong right now. Edge only has 1 kill to their name. They're in a good spot, though. They just let P7 come in. I don't want to say easily, but they didn't get any knocks there. Too much damage. K7's moved up the hill. P7 right below them. I think Ivex here was checking that care package. I think K7 might have already hit this. We're approaching the 20-minute mark, everybody. The circle finally came back to the west side. We haven't watched K7 at all. Last time we checked, they were holding off that compound by the crash from RLX, I think it was. 2 members left. It's just Tyro and Gav. And they're going to be holding center here and trying to hide out with NES above them.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a chess match going on between Edge and P7, kind of in this the western side of a zone. Yeah, P7 have kind of been poking their way up the hill. Oh, and there you go. Other side of the map, Knock has been opened up here onto NES from Spree, representing this RS squad. And again, there's such interesting angles from Nitrous Esports here, watching this RS squad work their way up the hill. Jackal with the bolty, and he's got the spray on the barrel, I believe, but a couple of his teammates are knocked. They're trying to get the res onto Spirit here. I'm not really sure it's in the cards. RS has a really nice 3-man split, although they did lose 1 member on the low side. It's kind of up to Jackal here to play a little bit of an anchoring role to try to suppress this RS squad from pushing in. He's gonna need a little bit of help. I'm not sure where the help is. It's the rest of his team. Rez and Slayers are a little bit kind of out of the picture here with the compound in the way there. So I think RS is going to use this compound for temporary cover, and they're going to have to push out towards the end of this zone, maybe the beginning of next zone here. So kind of a little bit of a slow working battle here, but Spree with a nice bolty shot onto Slayers here might create an opening for them to push onto this, and they already are. Blitz, you can see the nades bouncing up, stuns are out, all sorts of util going on. It's going to need to be the final member for NES. Rez kind of overwatching for his team as RS begins this push.
Yes, great catches. Rez there almost brings him down, just a fraction of health left. Other teammate goes down, going for that. I think it was Jackal going for that revive. I think Jackal having the sniper there kind of hurt them on that push, because he wasn't able to lay down as much fire when he saw them initially kind of out in the open. He only got a shot or 2 off, and that is why, you know, most players go with the mini, or DMR, excuse me, over the sniper. Meanwhile, P7 looks like they pushed up. Winner Circle had taken out KO, so maybe
a little bit of a 3-teamed fight breaking out here, Blitz.
Yeah, I guess that maybe they thought on the kill feed that this would be a good time to push, because Winner Circle had just taken out KO. Again, KO not having a great day today. Winner Circle on the flip side playing very strong. Pole has a FAMAS in his hand. I think we saw him grab that earlier on, so we're going to tap into his perspective. They have 4 kills right now, 3 up for their squad. And
Very
just
nice
like
job
that,
to just flip over the top, clean up that edge squad. In the meantime, P9 was down like at least 2 players. P7 was down at least 2 players, and now they're back up to 4 strong. So they've kind of got a little bit of an advantageous position over the top here. But Big Dog drops Mercy, Pole drops Steals. So things are happening really quick here. In a matter of time before the third party from the top of RS is going to get involved. So Ivix and Bonnie, unfortunately, just down to the final 2 players here. And as you said, Winner Circle continuing some very strong play today. They've got 5 kills. Paul is kind of pushing back the third party on the hill, and he's going to try to regroup with Big Dog here on the low side. I think they're going to try to work their way this way to get rid of the rest of P7.
Yeah, this
and
is a
then try
smart
to deal
move.
with the top side. Yeah, I love this flank by Paul. Regrouping with the squad. There you go. Another knock onto, excuse me, no, that was a bleed out onto Steel. So now it's officially just 2 members up for P7. Paul is just working his way through this graveyard, trying to figure out if there's any prone members of P7 around. And they got to be careful because RS is just peering over the top.
Yeah, somehow P7 made it out of here. Now it's just RS looking at winner circle. There's a pretty long ridge here, but it looks more effective to push from the east side. Big Dog's going to kind of start this push from the right to try to gain more ground. I think they know that P7 is lurking somewhere, so they're very skeptical. You could just tell here of moving any further forward. Initial molly coming out. RS did a good spot, Stento, to potentially gain some really good points here. They fell out of the top 8. They're in the top 6 right now. This could be a huge game for them to pick up a bunch of kills, having this top side advantage. Just look at the map here. K7 is still kind of hiding down. P7 taking a similar approach, kind of hiding on the rock cliff here. Chap is also a solo that eventually made it into the zone, is hiding out there. And we have a 4-man AE still, but they're on the bottom side of the zone. So we'll have to see where this zone ends up going to. I kind of want to watch an aerial view and kind of keep paying attention to RS.
Yeah, it's a good point. I just checked the scoreboard. RS is dropped down to 10th now. They've got to work their way back into the top 8 if they want to make the finals here. And again, they're in a great spot on the top of the hill here. They've got most of the zone here, but Big Dog unfortunately drops denial with the long range SLR. It looks like Paul is considering pushing onto this. He might have spotted Spree there, but he has put the red dot on that FAMAS. He's starting to charge up the hill. They want this territory blitz. It's almost center zone up here, and the height is just so valuable that Paul and the rest of the squad are trying to use this as their opportunity to push on. The mollies are out, the smokes are out, and Big Dog's going to drop another one. Kind of leading the charge here for Winner's Circle is Big Dog. He's gotten both of these knocks. It's just one member left for the retired Sinners on top of the hill, and it's Spree. He's got an ace and a bolty, and this is going to be a tall order with 3 Winner's Circles members just pushing up the hill, and they've got plenty of util. As you see, tons of smokes coming out of Pole, and they're going to just slowly try to find their way to the top of this hill, eliminate this team. We're going to be down to 5 teams if they can find the final member, so everything working its way out pretty quickly, and this hill has been such a highly desired spot by so many different teams that it's been just fight after fight for this real estate.
Yeah, Big Dog really coming in clutch there, opening up this push, but they're playing smart because they don't want to just lose a member to Spree here on the side. But I honestly think they should just group up and really push together and try to get Spree out, because the longer they take, a team could backfill them. No one's doing it because there's so many broken teams. Cole finally just found him on the edge here, so he's going to call for the rest of his team to push up. And Bueno's going to get it. So nice. They needed to get that in, though, because if another team was there, that could have been dangerous. They finally get that kill, and they're going to take the top side. But again, yeah, big props to Big Dog making that all possible with those first 2 knocks.
Yeah, definitely opened the door for the other 2 to get up the hill. And as you can see, I've got a kind of nice aerial view right now. Tons of broken teams in this game right now. Winner's Circle in a really good spot with a little bit of a spread on top of the hill. K7 kind of pushing their way up the hill with Gab, leaving Tyro in the shack. I think a big focus of this map needs to be AE. I'm not sure we've seen them clutch a win yet so far. They've been scrapping it up a lot. They're in the conversation, but I think AE could really use a win here. They're in 11th place right now, so they've got some work to do. Any sort of a win for these teams right now is really big mid-season to kind of get them where they need to be in that top 8. So
yeah, here we go. Since I want to tap into AE, but check this out. If you look at your screen, we got Chad who crawled into this bush right on the other side of P7. Just wanted to shout this out for everybody watching. Just a funny moment with 2 teams super close together. Is Chap even in right now? It looks like he is just in that side. And then Winner's Circle
they're
just
going to push
above.
the shack here. Cliff is pushing the shack. Tyro shut the door.
Cliff is here. You're right. This is one member of K7. He's trying to get the stun. Didn't have his gun out. So he's going to go down. Tyro get that flush. Not yet. Winner's Circle might send a member over here to do something. He had Pole and Big Dog are heading over 2 different ridges to watch. Gav is super low health. Cliff is trying to get cover from Tiro. He's trying to throw a molly down at the ground to get this flush. Pole
There
gets
you go.
Gav from
Pole
behind.
over the top, gets Gav. It's up to just Tyro here. He's gonna have a 4-man push from
Walsh ran into the molly. He tried to go into the smoke to get to clip it, ran into the molly. Now he needs his team here. Orange gets caught with the nade, Stento. They're not up with their guns. They need their last member to play aggressive here and push up. And Zero's gonna wipe the whole team.
Oh my gosh, Tyro found the right time to push through and drop 2 members quickly there. The aggression is just unmatched there from a solo. You don't see it enough. Usually you're just tucked in a corner and waiting for your fate, but Tyro took it into his own hands and gets a clean wipe there. And there you go, the solo chap with a bolty knock and then cleans up Bonnie with the AUG spray. Unbelievable solo plays coming out here, Blitz. We've got 2 of them left versus, nope, now just 1 of them left as Big Dog takes down Chap. All eyes are on Tyro. Can he get another squad wipe? We have to get into that man's perspective, I think. We just saw him do it once. Can he do it again? He's already got 5 kills.
Yeah, Tyro versus Paul. Now, Winner Circle is warmed up right now. They already took a game today, right? Then Tyro runs into Boldo with the FAMAS, takes him out. That was a great first knock. He's going to catch Bueno. This is 2. It's a 1v2 situation against all odds. They're pushing 1v1.
Oh, what is he doing, Blitz? To peek over the top and take down Big Dog, who was feeling it himself. That's 8 kills. He got 7 with 2 squad wipes in the last minute of the game. K7 with the big 11 kill chicken dinner. I don't even know what to say, Blitz. I thought that was Winner Circle game for sure. They're going to have to settle for second with 11 kills. But Toxic EU, 4 kills and the 3rd place, Blitz. I'm blushing too much. I don't know if we can do the split screen.
Yeah, I was gonna go to the screen early because my mouth was just like this.
What?
The whole time there at the end. That doesn't even make sense because first of all, I got kind of confused there because I forgot Winner Circle was down a man. So I thought it was still 2v2 because the way they were pushing was like they had so many extra members there. It almost looked like they were joking, like they were gonna throw a pan or something. And then Tyro was like, nah, I'm not getting around. I'm gonna back-to-back squad wipe and get the dub.
The push through the smokes just threw them off guard. I think 1 member for AE, Walshy, that got caught on fire. So whether he was pushing back to heal or other people had nades, or if just Tyro was out of his mind, I mean, he pushed through and caught 2 of them like really quickly. And obviously he already had the first knock. And we didn't get down into his perspective early enough there, but the clean wipe onto AE was just absolutely crazy. And what sucks is that AE needed those points. They were really in a good spot to play from the low side up. And it just one man frenzy of Tyro to take him out. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, that was crazy. Exactly what happened is while she got hit by the fire, he ran out. The other guy got caught trying to throw a nade into the smoke. And then he got caught out. And then the last member was so far back thinking like, oh, my other 2 teammates got this. I'm going to cover from the backside. And then at that moment, sometimes you're like, I'm just going to put my controller down. Like you feel so defeated, right? Like when it's after all that happened. So I just can't believe they got Winner Circle there, man. I just can't believe that. And then he
snuck up on Winner Circle and in a clean drop on the first 2. And you obviously you just know he was ready to challenge number 3. That was just insane. I don't know what to say, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be back with match 4 on Miramar in just a second.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to clip that, and we'll be right back. GG's, everybody. All right, welcome everybody. We are entering game 4 of day 3 for EU. This is week 2 of the playoffs, so technically you could call this round 2. Kind of crazy to think that was just one match of Miramar there, because that one was absolutely crazy, and hopefully you guys were there for the ending of that last match, which might have been one of the craziest finishes so far we've seen in the NA versus EU Showdown, if not the craziest one so far. Miramar has been extremely exciting for the games. And again, this is game 4, this plane path going all the way from the bottom of the map under Los Leones all the way to La Cabrera. So hopefully we'll see an interesting circle here. We'll also make sure to kind of check in the leaderboards, because again, it takes a little while in between matches for them to update, so we can kind of see where people are after that last match, match 3. And we'll have to see how this one plays out. What did you think of that last match, Thento? Any other comments after the break on that one?
Nope. Absolutely not. No, I won't. I'll plead the fifth. I have got no further comment at this time. No, unbelievable. I feel like we see it's every day. It's every single match that we watch that I'm just like, wow, these guys are so talented and they're so much better than me. And I play this game for 8 hours a day. And rarely do you get to see something like that. That had, Quavo main gaming league 1 vibes all over it, and it wasn't just one squad wipe, it was 2. He took down a team of 4 and he took down a team of 3 to end it. 7 kills blitz in literally a minute. I'm not sure that PUBG Esports has ever seen an ending like that. We're gonna need to clip it and ship it, man, because that was something special. I feel like I owe Tyro money right now. I feel like I should take my wallet out and just hand it whatever's in there to him. It won't be much, obviously, but gosh, that was something special. We've got the plane path for our game 4 of the evening. If you're new to what we're doing here, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you guys to the main gaming NA versus EU showdown. We have a handful of the top teams in Europe battling it out for the top 8 places, where they will go to face the top 9 teams from NA. So we are pitting 2 of the largest regions on the game versus one another. But first, they have to make it through the gauntlet of their own region to be able to represent the top teams in their region. We will eventually be working our way towards a 17-team final, where these players will be playing for the final $4,000. We're just in week 2 of a 3-week regular season until we do whittle those teams down. So we do appreciate all of you guys hanging out, viewing. First circle is Pop Blitz. It looks like El Pozo, Toxic EU, and TXC right below them, going to be very comfortable. I think a large storyline that I'd like a lot of people to pay attention to is check out the scoreboard. We've had several teams just have a total 180 in their gameplay. Some good, some bad. A couple teams that stand out to me is Kicked Out in T1. You see on your scoreboard right now, your 4th and 5th place teams came out of the gate so hot. They were playing amazing in week 1, and they've really struggled to get their get their footing here today. We'll keep a very close eye on KO and T1. But as you can see, a big thing with the scoreboard that we need to keep an eye on is the top 8 teams. They're going to be moving on to the finals, and the top 4 will be earning money from this qualification round. But just like that, Blitz, first circle again has popped. Lots of teams have long rotations to zone. Just classic Miramar situation here.
Yeah, and the chat is just seeing the ending to that last match right now. Everyone kind of going crazy in the chat over that. So how do you say that guy's name? Is it Tyro? Tyro? I gotta get a correction on how to pronounce it.
I call him Tiro. I think. I actually probably call him both. I actually don't even know.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's pretty similar. Maybe we can get a correction from somebody in chat. A few people said they know that guy and they're rooting for him. So if you guys you can tell us how to pronounce it. Type it out how you the correct way to say it.
Yeah, we're gonna need the phonetic spelling in the chat.
That's what I meant to say. The phonetic spelling. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. The phonetic spelling on that one. Also, just quickly going back to the scoreboard just for 1 second, because it just popped my mind, because I don't think we see anybody really crashing onto each other just yet. Was that we have a couple other teams, Thento, and people were looking at this during the break. We also have Code Red Gaming has been a little quiet today. We saw them we've been trying to get in with their comms, but they kind of keep getting caught the edge of zone and getting taken out there. Same with RMV. We haven't seen too much of them. They were kind of hiding out in that first zone. So a lot of teams kind of off to a tougher start in week 2 here. And then getting back to the gameplay, seeing a few teams rotate. I really want to see what Toxic EU does here, Stento, from El Pozo. You know, sometimes it's hard to play when you have zone, but they've been given some decent zones today, some decent situations. I want to see how they can take advantage of this. And same with KO. They're Monte Nuevo. Winner Circle's pulling up. One of the members of KO is by themselves. This is a big game. I mean, for them, they could have already left and been in a better spot potentially. So the longer they wait, they're going to lose out on this great spot they had. All the teams are kind of rotating already.
Yeah, I love the winner circle perspective. Let's see them on their rotation here. Not too many teams close to one another, so we're not really catching much action with the map right now, but I love this rotation. Winner circle is going through a few teams right now, and it just I love getting into their perspective, and you can see what they're dealing with. Miramar is very difficult to drive, especially in one of these Morados. And as you can see, Paul finding a tree there, and he's actually going right past some of these TXC members. I'm not sure if we're gonna have any shots land. Tazzy getting a little bit of an angle, but nothing quite troubling the winner circle here. I am seeing a couple of kills break out on the kill feed there.
There was some fighting in Los, and I'm trying to see where else.
Oh, there you go. It's Toxic. TXC is shooting down right below them.
Getting some shots. KO's finally leaving from the south side. Euro is leaving. Nocino is right behind Shangdi. Looks like they got the golden Murado here.
Blitz, I think we got to go over to the city. Los Leones. I'm seeing some knocks, some trades going out over here. It's a big party in this rooftop building here.
Walshy down, not eliminated. It's 2 left for AE. It looks like Spirits is in that building, Sento, and Slayers already went down. Arts is going for the revive on Walshy. The other 2 members of NES are finally going to make their way over. I'm going to tap into AE because they're kind of going to be defending this. And he just ran in. 2 Spirits there. Arts comes in, the teammate, to save the day.
Yeah, he was caught with like a heal or a boost in his hand or something, but backed off just in a time, avoided the knock. Art steps up, and there you go. Rez is now showing up for Nitrous Esports. It's a little bit of a 2-on-1 situation, I think, between Rez, Arts, and Cliff here.
Yeah, and Cliff is just Arts is holding this stare from the opposite angle. That nade's going to come in and knock through their teammate, almost eliminate Walshy.
Oh my goodness.
Arts gets the remaining 2 kills there, I think, Stento. Onto Jackal and the other member. I missed it on the kill feed. And he's going to be able to get clipped up. They lost Walshy, though, because that nade brought him down to such a little health when he was already knocked. And flipping back to where we just were, now KO on the rotation. I saw a lot of gunfights coming out, or shots being fired, excuse me. But it looks like it's just Spencer that's down. Just a lot of people in the area. I thought there was more going on here, so I kind of flipped over.
Yeah, if you do quickly look at your map, tons of teams huddling up around El Pozo. We are seeing Edge lift in between El Pozo and the Crater Fields. So another one of those emergency airdrops going to put a team in a very good location here. They're going to take the top of this hill. Especially some of those peaks are just kind of crazy angles you can take from up there right now. So they're going to be happy right there. Edge is a team that needs to get it going. They're hanging out on the right side of the scoreboard right now. Once again, we've got 17 teams in the EU section, and the top 8 are going to move on to the Showdown finals. Just having a look at my map here, Blitz. Lots of teams just kind of hunkered into their own situation right now. Long range shots being traded out. We're on board with Kicked Out right now. This was one of our hot teams from week 1. They came out, they're sitting in 3rd, 4th place, and they haven't really had much to say so far in week 2. We're in our 4th match of the day. It's time for them to get it rolling here. They've got 1 kill on the board. I believe they just got a knock onto Platinum 7, and they're in a decent spot here, kind of spread amongst these hills. And it looks like they got the scopes to go with the guns, so they're in a decent spot here. Kicked Out again was in 3rd place, I think, after our first week, and they're slowly starting to drop here as they haven't picked up many points here in our 3rd day of action. So Again, a great team to keep an eye on here as they won some really awesome chickens in our first week of action. They're going to try to get some long range shots on to Platinum 7 here. Nothing quite connecting right now. P7 going to kind of push the west side and away from this area and try to find a different way into zone rather than trying to push through this kicked out squad.
So for winners today, we had Winner Circle Game 1, Toxic EU Game 2, and then we just had Game 3 on Miramar. That was K7 coming out with a surprise from behind victory, right? I think that's what we have so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do want to take a quick switch over to your scoreboard screen, we have all of the matches that we've played so far have been now updated. So your scoreboard is in a good standing. And if you take a quick look, Kinetic 7 with that clutch up from Tyro, now separating themselves at the top of the leaderboard with 160 points. Torch 129, followed by Winner Circle with 127. And rounding out our top 4 money spots is Kicked Out, who haven't really got it going this week here, but they had such a strong week in week 1 that they're still hanging on to the top 4. Another thing I'd like to point out one more time, we've seen Nitrous Esports just go out in 17th place. They were in our top 8 and now they're starting to fall out. So again, we're seeing the kind of the ebbs and flows and the sways of this league as you can kind of get some momentum, get some games going. And again, this 8th place drop off spot is going to be very hotly contested, as you can see the right side of the leaderboard starting to get a little bit closer.
Yeah, for sure. And Team Toxic moving their way up to 6th place. They're only 4 points behind Kicked Out. And really, Santos, as we get back to the gameplay, I mean, that was every team's opportunity to get some ground on K7, and they let them come out with that dub and the additional 7 points and kills and the placement points, you know, for getting that extra couple spots there, because they could have been out easily in 5th place in that initial fight. So just a crazy swing, and now they have a very comfortable lead for sure. We see them right now. They're actually rotating on the west side of the map. We got a couple teams close together. This is ZES and T1. I'm going to be flipping around because we're going to try to catch the action here as teams rotate in. There's going to be a lot of teams close together. Look at all these teams rotate to the west side of the zone because the circle is kind of shifting right towards edge and into Crater Field. So this will be tough. Will it go north to Crater? Will it come back to Pozo? This is a tough one to predict, Sento. It could also shift west, which a lot of these circles do. If I'm an IGL now, I don't know how to call it.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time to wait. I love where Edge is hanging on the top side because I think you're going to see a lot of teams kind of work their way into Pozo and get stuck in there. But there's several teams kind of on the edge of Crater Fields that are in good spots right now. As you can see on your map, the shots trading out from team to team, long range, Winter Circle, RLX, all in close vicinity here, but they've got their own complexes. There's a lot of different spots to work with, whether it's hard cover right now or some high ground or these ridges. There's just a lot of different things you can play on Miramar. The goal is just to make sure you can keep 4 up and get to end game and work through it that way. And you're seeing a lot of teams just south of Crater Fields. Most of these squads are kind of piled up on the south side of zone, so you're seeing a very wise rotation right now from our first place team as they start to wrap it up to the north side. They're going to be almost virtually all alone over there. It looks like RMV have a similar kind of thought to try to get into some high ground in the center of zone there. So some good plays being made as phase 2 is about to center up here. We're going to learn a lot more about where this is shifting very soon.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I kind of just noticed that RS right now doesn't have a compound. They're on the very edge here. Thought maybe they were going to rotate in towards P7, but it looks like they've identified they're there, and they're going to go the long way around. And now K7 getting very close to RMV. We might see an outbreak here. K7 just kind of... I thought they were going to push past this compound. It looks like they've just tucked into the long building here. Or this God building.
Yeah, this might be a good fight that's going to break out. RMV, we've seen some impressive shots come out of these guys. I think they've picked up a pack. I'm not exactly sure, but they have a very advantageous position on 2K7 here. But K7, of course, one of our top teams, our first place team right now, so demanding a lot of respect. RMV's not really too eager to push over the top here.
So Circle shifted west, which I thought could happen, and this is a really big shift west because now RLX, Winter Circle, and all these teams are very happy. RMV have to be very excited about this Circle shift. Really, just Crater Fields and Torch now, and the people in Pozo pretty much aware that they're going to have to move in. Pozo could be a shit show if everyone decides to just stay too long and wait to the very end to leave. This is where, though, there could be a great opportunity to pick up those pickups, right? There's so much loot there. You could definitely find some late pickups if you're really worried about how to get out of there. Some teams might not have a vehicle. And then check this out. RS is going to get a free compound to the west here on their long rotation. It ended up paying off for them.
Yeah. Nice spot there with some good walls and everything. They're going to be able to work their way into zone very, very easily from that spot. I think it's going to be really messy here. There's about 4, maybe 5 teams in El Pozo where I think it's about to break out. It's nice to see K7 potentially trying to get aggressive on this. I'm not exactly sure. Where's their 4th member?
Gav is coming in from the north side.
Yeah.
I also just noticed that T1 has a really tough rotation because they were across from ZES and Craterfield, so they've had to push off. Torch is actually making their way underneath Edge. This might end up being a pretty big stalemate because they're going to get under the big rocks here, so it might not be great action, but I wanted to see how their push was going right now.
Yeah, that's a very interesting spot right now. I love this push from Torch. It's so interesting. They've got Edge kind of waiting for them. They're not really in a rush. They are in zone here, but
and they are a second place
be a very
team.
Interesting fight here. Edge is got all sorts of angles.
We've been looking at Pozo just bunch up closer and closer together. I feel like Toxic might be a really good team to watch because they're shooting at teams in Pozo. Now Full is going for a shot on the mountain with his friend on the rooftop here. We have to remember that, you know, before Sento, you'd have to come up here to get a parachute. Miramar had parachutes on top of the big buildings that you could equip. Now everybody has a parachute. If you haven't played PUBG recently, that's part of everyone's kit now. We all have always on parachutes. So this is such a great spot to be in because you can leave at any time. You don't have to worry about it taking up your inventory space. You can see Full right now.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's just, I don't know. At one point, they're going to have to come out of there, so they'll have to be very careful. Things are starting to heat up on the northeast side of zone between RMV and K7. I'd see a little bit of angles. RMV is trying to kind of push onto these guys, but third party from the backside is starting to play a little bit of a factor here. RS has an angle onto this and starting to kind of suppress RMV's push. So I think RMV are going to be in their best interest to kind of regroup rather than get 2 of their team members pinched here, because RS is looking like they're getting more and more curious, pushing over this way. In K7, it's only a matter of time before they need to move. So it's not quite worth, you know, pushing out too far right now to get these kills, again, especially with the third party. So I think as you see, Hacker and Takashi are working their way through some ridges here to try to get back onto the top of the hill. K7 just taking their time. They've got limited amount of it, though. They've got a couple of vehicles here. Just a couple of things to point out. There are some fights breaking out and a lot of people rotating on the south side. Batoons is in a very interesting spot. You're seeing KO kind of push through the center of the map. He's taking like a dip here, like a very, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone play this dip. I'm going to be very interesting to see if it works out for 4 people, if you can get cars all around the edge of the dip or something of that nature.
Looks like that's what they're trying to do right now, because obviously this compound is one of the best compounds to have in this circle. You're stoked if you're here. So much cover for a long time, but they have a little bit of an angle on KO, but not much. That it's a pretty decent little dip there. If they lay down, KO just can't do much from that area. We're also seeing Toxic fight with the other members of Toxic. It's just Benjo left in this compound, but he's going to get a knock on a Swift. So 2 members for TXU are down. Toxic on Toxic Violence. Shang D is actually still up. It's Shang D and Benjo in a 2v2. Shang D going for a nade. This could flush Swift. He's trying to go over top, though, instead of just to the side. He hops out, gets caught, but survives with 12 shots. Sly couldn't get the kill. Now he's looking at 2 members in front of him. They need Chap to get in here.
Is trying to arrive. He's going to go for the res, though, and I think Benjo knows what's going on. Chaps disconnected that. They traded out shots, putting each other weak. Benjo comes out on top there. I think a little bit of help actually takes down both members. Benjo kind of playing out of his mind here to pick up 6 total kills for himself, 8 for the team. And as you said, just toxic on toxic violence coming out of El Pozo. We knew it had to happen at some point. Wow, just insane. I think Toxic EU was kind of in a better position there to win that fight, and just some good one-on-one plays. Right now, we've switched back over to the northwest side of zone where K7 has found their way into a compound, perhaps pushing RS out of this compound, and RMV up on the hill. That's going to be Hacker spraying with a little bit of 4x SKS, trying to put some damage down onto K7, who again, I didn't actually see how they kind of snuck into this compound, but I think probably pushed RS back out of it, and now are in a little bit of a pinch, but they're going to be okay for now.
Yeah, this circle just kept part of that compound in on the south side. I thought we were going to see K7 get eliminated there between RS and RMV, but yeah, they pushed RS off. And now it's really the other teams on the south side that are having more of a struggle right now dealing with this zone. RMV also has to watch out because ZES is flowing pretty close near them as well. Torch just lost all of their members but one on the south side. Gonna quickly hop over here just to see what's going on. Yeah, it's just Merc left. Torch, our second place team, not gonna be happy with this right now in game 4. Only 3 total kills, down to 1 player left. We're 20 minutes in, everybody. We're 11 teams still, 34 people alive. A lot of broken teams right now.
Yeah, I think a little more carnage than we've been used to seeing in early games here, but just a tough rotation for so many teams to try to get up to the north side of El Pozo and such a limited amount of good compounds here. So we've seen a lot of teams kind of get broken down. And I'm actually taking a look at my map. I didn't really realize that RS has gotten back to full strength, but Torch 1v1 versus Benjo here. Merc gets the better of him. Gonna get 1 extra kill point for the squad, taking their kills to 4 for the round.
Yeah, he's going to have a tough journey in them.
Yeah, absolutely. TXC out in 11th place.
So on this backside, there's actually so many little ridges for people to hold in these rocks and trees. These teams are going to slowly leapfrog here.
Oh,
RMV, ZES.
Yeah, ZES snuck right up on him. I didn't exactly
I saw them close nearby before. I didn't know they got that close just yet. Takes out Manu. 3 members still up for RMV. 4 still for K7. Unless the circle goes here, Stento, most of these teams, I think, are going to get killed on this north side, fighting each other, but we'll see what happens. Sometimes the circle pops up here, and we're only about a minute from finding out if it's going to stay on winner circle and center up on itself, or it's going to go shift north here.
Oh, QDex has stepped up and got 2 knocks onto RS, leading the way. The rest of the squad was on the edge. That is unbelievable plays. And the rest of RS is back in that compound. So what was a little bit of a late game 2-2 split, kind of with an Overwatch situation, breaks down because QDex, our kill leader in the tournament, steps up and gets a clean double kill.
So this is actually way bigger than it may seem, because K7 now will have an easier push into this compound. It'll be 2v4, and they could kind of smoke their way in. They went from unplayable to have a playable area, which is just going to be absolutely huge for them again.
Yeah, insane plays watching these guys working from the edge. Just, again, very impressive stuff out of this squad. They're going to be pushed out of zone here, and we're seeing a big fight breakout between RMV Edge and a little bit of ZES as well. I think it will be best to get into one of maybe RMV's perspective here, but Edge strong here. Deco is pushing over the top with Packer into Koski.
Nice.
He's got the M4 in his hand. Very nice brain. He knows exactly where the second was. Takes down Pammy with a clean double kill. We've seen some impressive plays from Deco on this squad, leading the way here with 3 kills for his team. That's going to be 8 teams gone and down to our final 7 here, and you're seeing more kills pop off. I actually think those are the thirsts onto those retired Sinner members. And wow, still a solo here. Blitz takes down Deco. I'm not sure they had any idea he was still there.
RMV, when they skirmish, are so good, but they just lose members.
Yeah, we've tapped into their perspective a lot when they're in fights, and they're so clearly just great shooters, but I kind of agree with you. They're all oftentimes losing a member or two in those fights that they're winning. So if they can just clean it up a little bit, it'll be very, very beneficial for them. But
check out the zone stento.
Yeah,
Winner Circle is
just getting
center. They only have one kill.
After circle.
They only,
Yeah, that's kind of the curse. That's kind of the curse of being centered up. In the meantime, I just want to point out K7 was able to push into that compound and take down the final two members of RS. So they have quickly picked up only 3 kills, but still very good job to get off of into zone from their edge there. But as you mentioned, this is kind of a Winner Circle's game to lose. And this is the kind of the curse of having this good of a zone. They've been here forever. They've been center zone the whole time. And as you mentioned, they've only been able to pick up 1 kill. So again, this is kind of why I think you see some teams favor the edge play more often, because you're able to pick up those frag points and scout your next play consistently into or out of other battles. And so Winner Circle, unfortunately, just with such a good zone here, we'll see how it ends up with them. You know, if they clutch up a chicken here with several kills, you know, there's nothing wrong with this. And still, they're already in the top 5 with the kill. So you're putting points on the board. But it just kind of goes to show you that being centered up can sometimes stalemate you around.
Oh, for sure. And right now, KO dropped into this hill. They got a nade barrage from Winner Circle. Nothing came down, but now K7 came up right above them, and they have a great sight line. They're just playing a little slower because I think they don't want to make a mistake or get taken out on this side. But right now it looks like K7 has this advantage. They have a way bigger hill to peak. And just like that, with RMV getting taken out, Sento, we're in our final 4. Winner Circle has a commanding center lead. RLX just has a little bit of this warehouse left in. And then K7 and KO are going to be battling each other. Most likely what's going to happen here is these teams are going to fight, and Winner Circle can just pick off from the side. But as long as they're over here, there's just a big dip on this side that Winner Circle cannot see. This car blowing up Sento is going to open up a situation here for potential knock from K7. Car blows up. Just moved a little bit of the cover. Anto trying to shoot through the window there. Toolins is down.
Yeah, unfortunate for KO. K7 and Winner Circle are all focused here. And there is a 2-man for RLX on a different side. QDX pushes up and actually steals that kill from Winner Circle. But KO just got all eyes on them.
Yeah,
Two different 4-mans just bearing down, and there's really not much they can do from that location. They're doing their best to hold on, but they just lost 1 member. I think it's only a matter of time before they lose another member. They have to maybe consider, you know, pushing on to K7 to kind of gain full control of this side of the road, but I'm not sure if the opportunity is really there.
Nades are going to come in from K7 right now, Sento. Anto has 4. I was waiting when they were going to throw one. They throw together. Nothing comes down. Anto still has 3 nades, so he has to decide, are they going to use this on KO or wait? Also, pay attention to Pole, everybody. He's pushing up behind K7. I'm going to tap into his view. Just missed it here. He's right behind them. Pole's right, super close. He's got the grows. I'm tapped in. Nade didn't hit. They're going to know that someone's close by. Now QDX is there.
You tried to open it up with a grenade. You wonder if that's going to come back to bite him. He's now pushing over. Drops back because he sees the cover from the rest of the team, and now K7, as they often do, moving as a unit, might isolate Paul here because the rest of the squad, and it's 3 peeking the rock at the same time. Blitz, you see how that happens. K7 so good at reacting as a squad to something, and what was a good opportunity for Paul. I think he's gonna regret using the nade first.
Dude, we pulled in on him looking at the whole squad, and he had a nade out.
There's a different world where that works out differently. Unfortunate for Paul there, but K7 amazing to react.
Yeah, this gave KO an opportunity to move up a little bit here and gain a little bit more territory, but I still don't think it's going to really be enough. And KO is super damaged after getting shot and naded at. And now Winner Circle again is here to just kind of watch. They don't have a view, even if they're on the roof. I don't think they have much of a view. I think Ghost and team might finally decide to get up here now.
This is a great play by KO to push up into that position. They saw an opportunity to get a little more ground from K7, but look at the util on the ground. The frags are out. Gav connects onto Benz. So now we're into Marco's position. He's going to try a little bit of util of his own. They're going to need Winner Circle to step over the top and help them out here, or this is going to be K7's game with big kills. Marco and Chris are doing all they can here to kind of back off.
Why are they backing off, though?
I think they're just waiting for a little bit of help. I think they're trying to figure out what is causing Winner Circle so taking Winner Circle so long to get involved, but Winner Circle doesn't really have a push across the street. It's kind of wide open, so that's kind of what is probably on their mind here, Blitz. And in the meantime, Marco and Chris have backed off. K7 is just slowly using their smokes and everything to survive, and unfortunately the pressure is coming back down from Winner Circle onto this KO squad. So Winner Circle focusing all they can, but unfortunately it's in the wrong spot if you ask me. They've got to be trying to figure out the right opportunity to take down K7, who has just been an absolute force on both of these Miramar games so far.
Yeah, this next zone is going to be detrimental for Winner Circle and K7. If it hangs to the west and K7 gets to hold this ridge and Winner Circle has to move, Winner Circle is not going to be happy about this. Likewise, or on the flip side, if it goes towards this compound, then Winner Circle will probably be able to take a deep breath and at least they know.
It all happens so quick, Blitz. It's phase 8 to phase 9, so we kind of already know where the dot is going to be center of this phase.
Oh, good point. Absolutely.
Big Dog has basically already grabbed dot almost. And Ghost, unfortunately for KO, gonna get all of the focus on as QDex and the rest of K7 push over the top.
Ghost almost got QDex down there. Yeah, he sees some heads popping on K7. He's got some good shots. I think he knocked a helmet or two there off the enemy. Ghost almost goes down. He's got to get a first aid here. It's really crucial that Bueno and Ghost stay up on this side with Big Dog watching this ridge. No more lethals for the Winner Circle.
They have been able to pick up 4 kills here, and KO honestly doing a very good job of staying too deep on that side. It's going to be a big issue for K7 if those guys are there as zone starts to push them.
And Sento, you were spot on. Big Dog had dot there. It's right where he was standing by that rock before. One member of KO is going down.
Coming out.
Winner Circle spots it.
Are they going to be able to get the revive off is kind of the name of this game here. K7 so good as a 4-man or a 3-man here. So Bueno looks like he's going to be able to get that thirst onto Gab. Gab is going to bleed out. Killa is going to go to Marco for kicked out. However, now we've got a little bit of a 3-on-3 situation.
Tyro going down.
Member, there you go. Tyro going down to the blue there. Unfortunately, I think they're just going to deny some kill points here. Winner Circle just in too good of a position here.
Wow.
And what was a really modest game for them, stays even more modest with just 4 kills. But that's just sometimes how it goes when you've got the best position. No need to leave it. They're going to take back 14 points from this lobby here. K7 doing a heck of a job there as a squad, picking up 7 kills and the second place for themselves, and kicked out, getting it rolling a little bit today. Finally 6 kills and the third place there, Blitz.
Yeah, for sure. And you're right. K7 worked in from arguably one of the worst spots. When the zone goes back center there, what's up, everybody, by the way? When the zone kind of centers up on that compound, if you're on the north side, it's just completely flat going downhill. At least if you're on the west or the south side, there's some ridges that you can work on and kind of dips to get into. So that was awesome for K7. Kind of surprised that they took themselves out there because how they've been playing today has been insane. It feels like they could just do anything they want to do and have a chance. But I guess at the end of the day, the Winner Circle did have that nasty ridge of that building, but another great game on Miramar. This one a little bit more slow, Sento, because it's just a weird zone. What do you think?
Yeah, it was interesting. We saw a lot of carnage kind of break out early in the game, so the lobby was kind of broken up early on. And then shifts just weren't that drastic. They kind of just centered, like Winner Circle was centered from like phase 4 on. So, it was, I'm not going to say predictable, but just not too it wasn't that shifty. It didn't really bother these teams to have to move too much. So we saw a couple teams just kind of dealing with some fights on the edge and stuff, while Winner Circle are winners there, just really just shooting long range and stuff, not a worry in the world. All action was kind of with K7 struggling on that north side with RMV and RS and several teams there. So that's where most of the action broke out. And again, I think the big thing that kind of stood out for me that round is just K7's ability to survive and kind of work through adversity and stuff. And it's showing even in games where they don't win. A second place with 7 kills is just such big points for them already in first place. So again, they're proven to be the talk of the day. Again, other teams like Torch and T1 and KO kind of get their footing and get the ball rolling here as K7 just doesn't really let their foot up off the gas.
Oh, for sure. And like you said, like we said, consistency will be how they kind of take this tournament. They're in first and in a good spot. And that's the second win for Winner Circle for the day. So we're going to be right back. We're going to step the lobby for the last match. Please stick around. We got one more going back to Erangel, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the final game of the evening for EU. Then we will be back for later today for the start of the NA tournament at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, this is day 3 for EU. This will be the last game. Here are the teams we have playing for EU every Monday and Tuesday until we head into the playoffs. And then here are our teams for NA. We have 3 separate groups. We have an additional group of NA teams. So we'll be having the top 9 NA teams versus the top EU teams in the playoffs and finals, fighting off for some great prizes here. $4,000 in the finals. And again, an additional $1,000 for the qualifying section, split between NA and EU. Again, if you're new around here, thank you guys for hanging around, or thank you for checking out the games. If you've been here before, thank you for sticking around. You already know that we're playing 5 matches for each section. So now we are back to Erangel after 2 really fun Miramars. Lately, Miramar has just been great for comp and also for the casual scene as well. But trusty Erangel still my personal favorite map. And anything to say so far, Stento, about our first 4 games of the evening for EU?
Yeah, but maybe too much, but we've got a few minutes here. A nice little Milta power down to military base playing path here. It's going to be interesting to see which of these teams are preparing for that southern military zone, but while we watch this plane unload, just an unbelievable 2 games on Miramar today, whether we were here for it or not. We saw some insane solo plays come out of some players here, like some of the best plays we've ever seen, perhaps out of Tyro representing Kinetic 7, wiping 2 squads as a solo to end a match. I've just never seen anything like that. That was highlight of the day. We'll make sure we get that clipped and absolutely shipped and set up, because that needs to be seen. But again, I think the story of today was Kinetic 7. Lots of teams are playing really well. Winner's Circle is doing a hell of a job to kind of work their way up into the top. They were several points, maybe 30 points or so behind Torch today, who has had a very slow day. But as you can see, the top 3 on the leaderboard kind of separating themselves. And again, the other thing we want to keep an eye on is the top 8. The top 8 from this EU section are going to be moving on to the finals. So a lot to keep an eye on, a lot to unpack here, but teams are going up and down. And again, it's very interesting to see the week-to-week adjustments teams are making. Some working, some not.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of hard to track everything all at once, but you're right. Torch not having the best day for sure, because they've only gone up, I think, 10 or 20 points the whole day so far. And right now I'm just kind of catching the action. It looks like we're seeing 2 teams drop together on at Ferry Pier. We'll say that get into it. We zone popped, military base zone. Most of the circle, I feel like, or at least half of it, is in the water.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, heavy water circle here.
Probably 3/4 of the zone are in water.
Yeah, very interesting. And really, honestly, I was going to say, Stento, today, while the action has been always good, we always have great action, Stento, watching these events, playing these events. Right here, we're seeing Bosnian go down. This is not good for Europe, because they've been playing pretty well today. We were tapped into Bosnian as they got some kills on rotation before. So they definitely have
what's interesting, Blitz, sorry to interrupt you. I'm watching from above. What's interesting is that Euro is 3 stacked on this location. So Tazzy, although a nice job to get the knock onto Bosnian, Sensei and Nocino are right there. So a much better job of working together as a unit. I think that those 3 pushed onto Tazzy to kind of isolate that solo as soon as they could there. But Benjo and the rest of the squad starting to work their way through the rocks and stuff. This is our last game of the evening. That revive is going to come off onto Bosnian there. I love this perspective we're in for Benjo. The rest of his team are a little bit further away, so they're going to have to be careful not to get caught out as a solo here. But Benjo's in a good spot on these rocks to perhaps catch someone off guard and even the stakes here.
Yeah, it looks like Euro's actually pushing up here, Stento. Euro God heading this way. Did they see somebody was here? He's looking down. He just caught him.
Wow.
Benjo goes down. They must have saw his helmet or something, because they went right towards that area, or maybe his spider sense was tingling. Flush gonna come in.
Yeah, that was crazy. He jumped. I'm not sure if they could have heard him. He moved down, fell down the rocks a little bit. I don't think he meant to, but Euro doing a very good job of just working through this entire area as a squad. And this is a team that needs every point they can get. They need to try to find some consistency. We've seen them winning some fights. We've seen them, in some end games here and there, but they are on the right side of the leaderboard, currently in 14th place. So they've got a decent way to go. They're hanging out at 49 points. They need to get past 72. Code Red Gaming hanging out in 8th.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring up here that so far about the action has been great. The teams have been playing fairly, I don't want to say slow, but everyone's been playing very calculated so far since. And it makes sense, right? Because we're in week 2, people really want to get those points, but we really haven't seen any crazy crashes, fighting for position. People are playing really methodical kind of with their moves. And oftentimes we see that maybe change up in game 5, the last game of the day, when people kind of go for some last minute points. So we'll see how this goes. And I think with this zone, we're going to see an absolutely crazy game today.
Yeah, we started the day with a military base circle. We're ending it with 1 blitz, and most of these teams just trying to figure out their early plays here. This is a zone where you sometimes have to sacrifice getting every bit of loot that you want in order to get position, in order to get over to the island, in order to set yourself up for any sort of a reasonable position in zone. Because again, if you look at your map, phase 1 has about 1/4 of the whole zone has land. There is so much water involved. I don't know if I've ever seen this drastic of a phase 1 circle down.
Code Red just crashed onto the gas station. 2 members of NES here. Third party coming in from Slayers, maybe pushing them off, Stento. No, they're still here. Wonder if Spirits is going to look under and try to shoot under the ground. He caught Trav in the foot. It's not going to be enough, though, from this angle. Jackal's really weak and kind of running for his life right now.
I love those ankle biter shots, and Traves is going to open things up here with a grenade onto Jackal. Another nade landing near Spears here. He's actually able to avoid it, but this is not what NES wanted here. This is starting a very aggressive push from Code Red Gaming. Our 8th place team needs, again, every point they can get as well. Spears is going to need a little bit of help. He's not able to win this one. Aaron is going to take him down. They're going to get the thirst immediately. And what was a good position for Nitrous Esports,
Yeah.
just a little bit too split, and they fall victim to that 4-man crash. Code Red Gaming, not a team you want to be fighting as a 4-man without the numbers.
Yeah, they had the advantage there, and I really thought they were going to catch Code Red there, but Code Red was able to survive. I think if some of those ankle shots came down a little earlier, that could have maybe turned the tide, but just was not enough at that point on. Looks like we saw Team T1 take the pickup. We haven't been seeing the lifts that much tonight, Stento. I feel like we've only seen a few of them, if even. So they got a great spot here. Kiss is going to go watch the shoreline there like a lighthouse, just seeing if anyone's coming that way, because we already do have some teams taking the boats. It looks like RS already made it to the land via a boat. Euro squad, Team 13 is taking a boat around the edge. AE took a boat to the east side here, and another plane coming in from
We're
Toxic.
seeing boats, we're seeing airlifts, we're seeing ferries being used all actively as we look at our map. People are dropping out of the
TXC.
sky. People are on multiple different boats. TXC, where are they going to land, Blitz? They got T1, Genetic 1 waiting for them. Pride Rock is already taken. Frozen landing directly underneath. Shang-Di out in the field. This is just kind of what we talk about. These airdrops are just so interesting. They can make a break around, but as you said, TXC already lost a couple members back at, I believe, Ferry Pier. Were they the team fighting there?
Yeah, good point. That was Ferry Pier.
So T1 trying to figure out how serious they want to take this. They do, again, have someone up on that huge rock up there, kind of calling out that Frozen is below him. That's going to be Kiss up there on the rock. And Ruzi's starting to push up, getting really close towards Shang-Di. And there you go. Stikas is going to take down Frozen. And now it's there you go. A very efficient push from Kinetic 1. Ruzi and Stikas picking up the 2 kills. Team 14, that's going to be Toxic Esport out in 17th place. They're a team that needs to kind of get it together for our day 2 tomorrow, and start to put some more points on the board if they want to find it into the top 8 teams.
For sure, Extendo, because we're going to have day 2 tomorrow for EU. Then next week will be the final 2 days. So after this, they just have 3 days left Am I correct with that, Senta? I think that is the schedule.
Yeah, two days after today, 3 days left. Correct.
Yeah.
This is basically after today is going to mark the halfway point. All of these teams are going to play 30 total matches versus each other. And this is the 15th total match right now. So we are officially going to be hitting the halfway point after this match. And again, there are just about everyone is still in the mix here. There's tons of PUBG left to be played. And as we look around for our powwow, campfire, airlift lag out situation, you just gotta love this glitch. It looks like they're putting their hands out for warmth or driving or something, but maybe playing rocks, paper, scissors blitz. I'm not sure. I think I'm seeing a scissors play come out of the guy in the security. Yeah.
It's funny. We'll see where they end up again. That's a emergency pickup spectator bug that we like to spectate because it is pretty funny looking. Look, check this out. Euro is on a foot push from the water. Godly already made it to the compound. It's P7 here. Euro, again, they're in 14th place out of 17. P7 is in 12th place. So these are both teams outside of the top 8, looking to end their day in a good way.
Yeah, Godly already got into the compound. He's going to need help sooner than later. I'm not sure. There you go. P7 has figured something out. No Cena from long range with the M16. Love that gun being put to use in the competitive scene. Sensei and the squad smoke pushing their way through the field. Godly had gotten in here before everyone else so much that he's going to play such a big factor. He's pushed in and he's picked up another kill on the Evixes.
They need to push now. They need to get into this compound. Godly should also maybe do a little flank here. If anything, could really throw them off if he rotated around this compound. He's going to stay in the building, though.
One of those reses has come out, Blitz, but still P7 is down to just 3 players here as we kind of back out and get a little bit of an aerial view. Yeah, Ivixes is knocked outside of the house. The rest of the team is in this 2-story here. One person outside as the rest of Euro has now arrived. Some shots from No Mercy, but Bosnian putting down.
Hey, with the nade, Euro with a decisive overtake of this compound.
Everyone was on the right place at the right time. The nades were hitting and some great shots and a very impressive push from Euro, who needs to get it rolling here, and they're doing just that. So a very, very good job to Euro. Unfortunate for P7. Weren't really sure that Godly had gotten into the compound, I don't think, and when they got that knock from the edge, it just kind of opened things up there.
That was such a great way to push there, Sendo. So many teams will kind of pause, not sure exactly what to do. They just kept the momentum going. They paused for 1 second just to heal, but then they kept going. They kind of fought together. They stuck together and ended up working out. So that was really nice to see for sure.
A nice overhead view of the map here shows you how the teams have worked their way into the zone. Lots of different areas on this island are still in play right now. As we saw, a lot of the water got shifted out, so now we've got a good amount of land here. RMV pulling up on a boat.
They're going to make their attempt at a push here, see if they can follow in the footsteps of Euro, or will they be back to the lobby? RLX member is actually on the tree to the left. Louis gets spotted. He takes out Manu before they can react. Takashi goes down. 2 members immediately eliminated. Deco with a nice trade spray, the 4 times ace there, making it look easy, but 2 members getting immediately thirsted. Takashi also down. It's just Deco left, Sento. This is a failed push. Third party coming in. Those shots are going to go down. Just like that.
Well done from Relax. They need to be able to hold in situations like this, and they do just that. A great kind of angle taken out by that player who was out there on the tree, I think was kind of the most important position there for Relax team here, who do pick up some nice kills. Maybe lost one to a thirst or something there, but a good hold. They're in a good position, and now just a little bit of a time before we see a little bit more action here. I'm looking at WC kind of working their way over the water on the northeast side. Our winners from last match. Some long range shots just being traded out. We're seeing some knocks on our kill feed, but no big fights too imminent here. I would like to point out a couple of care packages Blitz dropped literally in the center of military base near AE down there.
Wow.
So a lot of heavy artillery are going to be on the leaderboard, on the battlefield here. As you can see, Chap
got the
Toxic EU already got an AWM in his bag pocket.
Let's take a look at what's coming down now. This is going to be most certainly AE's care package. They're right on it. This one, we just missed it. Can we take a look? This is an MK14 special delivery, and then on the backside here, might go to no one. This might be a lost care package. We might have to send Stento out on the battlegrounds to be a field reporter to pick this up. This is a FAMAS. Hopefully somebody grabs it because we've been really enjoying seeing that. KO might be able to send a vehicle over there if they really feel like risking it, but AE is still kind of in that sight line. Circle just continues
Circle
to
has
center
been,
up.
Yeah, nothing too crazy with that circle up the main road. It's going to be kind of splitting both sides of the mainland there. So you're going to see people playing this high left side like Torch and that ridge, and a lot of people are going to be hunkering down in those buildings. K7 already taking a good amount of them, but there are still some to the northern side that we might see, maybe Code Red Gaming or Toxic EU or perhaps another team Hard Crash. So there's a lot of valuable real estate available here. I think K7 are considering gobbling that up before it's too late, as you're seeing Gav kind of send it in here. So heads up play by K7, taking as much real estate as they can. They're going to be in a really good spot here, but this might be one of those situations where they're just kind of in these buildings, long range shooting at whatever they can. So probably going to be a much of a winner circle situation that we saw last round, where they're just really happy with their zone. And K7 has done a good job kind of setting themselves apart from the rest here today. RS picking up some kills onto that Euro squad.
That was at that compound back there. I wonder how we missed it, but I wonder how RS crashed here. These compounds are pretty hard to take. There's a couple vehicles here. I'm not sure if they showed up, but nice for them.
Yep, RS getting on the board here with 4 kills. They've lost Pyro, but they're still 3 strong. They're gonna have plenty of loot here between all the bodies that are here. And 15 minutes blitz. We've got 13 teams alive, 44. So a lot of early game action here, as you'd expect with a military zone. Most teams are in zone. A couple of teams need to kind of creep their way into their edge from whichever side they're on. But it might be something we need to keep an eye on here. Blitz is Code Red Gaming. We tried to get him to a little bit of an Astro listen in with them earlier, but we didn't really get in there in time. So might be a good opportunity at some point soon to kind of tap into their perspective and see what's going on for COR.
Yeah, this could be a good time because they're going to be watching WC and a few teams here from the outskirts.
Let's hit it.
We will hop in now to listen into Code Red Gaming.
Yeah, one of them's almost got to compound already. You boys need to carry on, get into compound. Poly not.
That's on doing, I'm not with him.
2 of them.
One of them's almost in compound, if not in.
They're in on the very edge.
Like back left, yeah?
Yeah.
Back left, yeah.
Back of my volley.
Yeah, I see one. One's in the middle.
Comes.
One got knocked,
Last
another one on.
last one's here. I'm ping.
Let's go.
Running back to the yellow 1 stack. 3-4 times, inside yellow.
Seen, Hummel.
Right, let's take the ridge back.
Nice.
Get the ridge back.
Yeah, take it back straight away.
Need to watch this team on our right, don't push up now. RLX, what the fuck the name is?
Oh, they're dead.
They literally just got killed him.
Fuck, T1.
TXC. T1 might potentially take this hill then.
Oh no, T1, yeah.
On me. We need to take it back. Fuck me.
Full spread on the hill already.
We need to just fucking take it.
One's top rock as well.
Again.
Top Rock's got 3 gear.
Have you got a car?
I have, yeah.
Maybe crash on this rock if I can get to it. Res me, but they might peek.
think it's Reservoir, yeah? You think it's Reservoir? Go for it, mate. Just let me know.
I think it's Reservoir, so you need to call
I
it.
don't know, the rock's a bit shit, but you could do it. If you park right side of the rock, they might need though, so you just need to like watch the peak.
Hit exactly on orange.
If he's on orange, you can't do it.
I can't do it now.
No. If he's on orange, you can't. You fucking try if you want, mate, you can try it.
Kid's far
Nah,
right.
it's far away, you can't do it.
Kid's far right running down the hill at us.
Try and bring that car in, Ollie.
Yeah, but run at you now.
Well, from yellow.
Yeah.
I'm not.
He got to this rock, he
Okay.
just got to take knots.
Just can't be doing that, man. Just lost our spot.
How many are up on this team?
Come on, man.
One kid there.
All right, so we're back with Stento and I now. Decided to come back because now Code Red's in a tough spot and the circle shifted pretty far away from them. So the comms were, they wanted to gatekeep out, I think that was Winter Circle, and they left this ridge. They kind of knew that might happen, and then Toxic took it. And now they're in a tough spot, so they're going to have to fight through Toxic. So we're kind of still watching them right now. But I figured we'd get back, kind of fill in Stento what's going on here with those comms, and know that they are in a tough spot. And that is what's dangerous about this side of the zone, is you lose a ridge and then you're kind of stuck.
Yeah, and actually, both these teams that we're looking at actually circled out. This phase 5 kind of pulled to the south, and we're gonna have to see this fight probably break out because there's very little real estate to work with here, as they're gonna have to both push towards the south side of zone. I like that they pulled up on this ridge to kind of give themselves something to work with. They're gonna need to be careful because P1 is coming down the other side across the street.
Yeah, they made a nice little smoke wall to the right, but nothing really happened here. They need to keep moving. I think they only have a McLaren. Spencer's going to look over the edge. Ollie goes down from Sly.
Good shots from range there. They're going to need to get this quick revive off. Spencer's going to try to kind of prevent the push here, but Swift is already all the way up on them Blitz. I'm not sure if you can see that.
Oh, just Spencer just caught it on that side. He gets a big knock from the barrel. Red dot, not easy to control the spray at that distance. Almost lost it, but stayed steady. I think he's got to get the McLaren here, Stento. He's not going to. I mean, I guess this is a better play.
There you go. The res has come up onto Ollie. So good work from Spencer and Traves there to kind of cover for each other to get that res. And now we've got a 3-on-3. Kind of in the favor of Smoke Gaming here because Full is considering this res in the smoke. Chap and Sly are doing all they can to watch the high side, but Spencer with a good peek over the top with the red dot on the barrel is going to take down Chap, who has just been popping tons of heads with that AWM, as you could have saw in the kill feed there as we finished up our Astro 840 listening. And Spencer going with the 3x spray here, takes down Sly as well, as Sly kind of trades out with Ollie here. So now it's a tough task for Spencer to push through the edge of zone here. Two members are in the smoke for Toxic EU. Full and Swift both trying to get heals off of their own, trying to wrap their way through the edge of blue here. Tons of smoke on the battlefield here. Blitz. There you go. Spencer drops one of them. He's looking for the second. Full is there for Toxic EU, as he has been for several times. Clutched up a chicken dinner for the squad earlier. He might be able to get back up to the top of the hill here, but the third-party shots are starting to ring out. And there you go. Art or AE is actually going to pick up that kill from long range up on Crate's hill there. As you can see, Team 9 picking up what is their 5th kill of the round. Art's leading the way with 4. But wow, as we just kind of expected, a big mutual destruction battle happening on the north side there. A big hats off to Code Red Gaming and Toxic EU. That was a fun watch there. Both teams getting several knocks and revives and stuff. So GG's. We'll see both those teams tomorrow.
Spencer was fragging out right there, kind of clutching up for the squad, and literally had Full down to just 2 health coming out of the zone there. Here we're seeing Torch make a push onto AE. Click goes down. They caught him early, so this could be a big tide shift here. Not a low health as well. Torch, when they're on fire, they're really tough to beat here. They're moving strong.
I was gonna say something similar. We saw these guys win several weeklies. We know what they can do, winning leagues, and they came out so hot, leading the way to start this event in week 1. Again, after week 1, they were sitting on top of the leaderboard, tied with K7. They run into a little bit of a slowdown here in this game here, and Kayomi has realized that they've got a threat on the edge here. Luca has gone down to a nade from, there you go, Kayomi's going to take down that final team behind them. That's going to be RS, Retired Cinders, going out in 5th place.
K7 left the compound to get in some of the action. Looks like they're not playing too fast here. They could have just stayed down, but they want some of the action. Some helmets flying off there. Gav is down. But
there you go. They pick up
work
3 kills where they had enough of center zone. They pushed out onto this AE team and pick them up really quickly, picking up 3 kills there. Now K7 back to 4 strong, getting the res onto Gav there. And Torch is now 3 deep on this hill, about to face off with K7, and the only other 2 players on the map is Tenetic 1 on the other side of the road. So very interesting end game here. Lots of people getting impatient, taking fights, but I love that push out from K7 there to get involved. There's only 2 teams left, and why waste time?
Yeah, I lost track of it, but I'm pretty sure Torch's member Luca was on the other side of the map, kind of having like cover fire with the DMR. And since they lost him there, that definitely hurts him a little bit because K7 has all 4 up. Or else I think we would have seen Torch get a little bit more aggressive there. I was kind of wondering why they didn't push in, because one of the members did get knocked from K7, but I don't think they felt comfortable pushing. They don't have any lethals either to kind of start that push. And now they're kind of waiting on zone. I think Torch is trying to wait and see if they can get more position love here instead of having to fight 3v4.
Yeah, this is a tough situation, really. There's nothing that's forcing either of these teams into each other. So we might be waiting a zone or 2 because K7 and Torch both have a little bit of an edge spot. They're going to have to slowly push down the hill here. It'll be interesting to see if T1 can play any sort of a factor in this fight. But it's a full 4-man for Kinetic 7, a 3-man for Torch, a 2-man for T1, and K7 beginning to kind of wrap their way back into the compound. I believe that's Anto getting back down there. The rest of the members kind of hanging out up top. I think kind of considering pushing back down as well. But those buildings aren't going to be in there for long, so I think they might just keep Anto there kind of to have an angle. But I love our aerial view right now. We can see what these teams are thinking, and it looks like the 2-man for Tenetic 1 are starting to rotate here, and you can see the bullet tracers. Anto laying down some shots. They're going to find these 2 buildings across the street, so they're going to have a little bit of zone for now, but that's not going to be
these buildings and this bus that are going to be pretty big for them to take this shed and that bus for a little bit of cover. Some nades coming in on Torch right now. Throwables coming in. Torch laying down. Last year, I think PUBG updated, or maybe 2 years ago now, when you lay down, you block a lot more grenade damage. You take less grenade damage. That is one of the more recent updates in the modern version of PUBG. So Torch Merc should be okay. They're laying down, healing up. Nothing came through. Smoke's just coming out from K7. Let's take a look at their lethals left. QDex has 1 nade, and he's got the MK, so this is going to be tough to fight through. QDex has been a monster lately. This whole team, obviously, very tough to beat. But Torch was tied with them going into today. If you're just tuning in, this is the last game of the day for EU. Day 3 for EU. And QDex with that nasty heady on the MK spray, switching to a red dot, and now the push is going to happen. I wouldn't doubt if we see another nade get thrown here.
He's got the red dot on it now. He's waiting for the peek from Mercs, and he finds the head almost instantly. QDex is too clean. He's got the frag out, looking for the final member. Fizz, it's going to be a little too far, I think. He only is res. Stuns are out now, so Torch putting up a heck of a fight here. It is a 3v2 because they're waiting for Anto to get back up from the hill. So Kiyomi pinned into the backside here, and they're going to push in and clean that up pretty efficiently now. They did lose 1 member, Gav, in that fight there, and now it's a 2-man for T1 versus the 3-man for Kinetic 7. I think eyes got to be on QDex here with that MK. We just saw him get the 8x, flip it to the red dot, headshots with whatever scope he's got attached on that thing. This is our kill leader in the tournament, ladies and gentlemen. In Tyro, we saw some impressive things out of him today as well, picking up the kill onto Stikas. All eyes now, again, onto that one member for Genetic 1.
Yeah, this is pretty impressive that K7, you know, is going to take this game again. It's 3v1 here. Kiss is in such a tough spot with this Balti. They split up and tried to do 2v3, but it's going to be too much here. They're going to surround Kiss. QDex wrapping right here. Stento, you mentioned it. This ghost and coast strategy, go to the middle and chill, is working out for them because they're just going center. They obviously know how to rotate super well. They know these circles. Good shooters on top of it. And this shouldn't be their second potential dub because they stole one. But this will most likely end up being their second win of the day. QDex doing some practice MK sprays. But Kiss is holding him off still.
Yeah, puts him down to half health. Again, he's got no cover in all angles on him. It would need to be an absolutely impressive situation. A quick scope Bolty does land. Impressive work there. Can't find another one. QDex is going to be able to get a heal off here, and now it's only a matter of time here. He's probably considering. There you go. Last game of the day. Unfortunately, Zone is going to take him out. Denies a little bit of a kill point to K7, who just had a really dominant afternoon here. Blitz 8 kills in the chicken dinner in the final game of the day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think if we went back and checked, I feel like they placed probably top 5 in most of the matches today. Again, they're finishing first in this one. T1 going to come out with second. We saw Kiss there kind of fight for his life at the end, but they should be pretty happy with that. They're going to come in second with 8 total kills, and then Torch making their way back up in the third place, and they're going to walk away with 6 kills as well, if my quick math there is right. And we'll take it to me and Stento here. Again, the first thing on my mind is that Torch definitely lost a little bit of ground. We can show you guys the scoreboard. This won't be updated until a little while because we just finished game 5. But again, we started off today with Torch and Kinetic 7 tied. So Torch definitely took a big drop here. Didn't get too many points until this last game, but Winner Circle really came in strong today. Kicked out in 4th. Had a slower day for sure. Team Toxic had a better day, climbing up to 5th. Kinetic 1 kind of dropped, I think, as well. And then results may vary in Code Red Gaming. Rounding out our top 8. Anything else on your mind, Sento, about the games and K7's kind of clear victory? I think now it's like K7's not really in the conversation. They're out of the conversation. They're going to be probably pretty far ahead if they keep this up, and then it's really just the final 7 teams after them.
Yeah, they've got a lot of points. That game right there was game 15. The regular season is going to be 30 games. All 17 teams will play 30 games. And that's some big points from K7, just continuing a really strong first week with an even stronger first day of the second week. Again, they were neck and neck with Torch going into that day and really separated themselves there. Again, we saw them just kind of turn on to a coast mode where they were just going to get center zone. And, you know, just kind of, they're always good with their position. But sometimes we see them moving around and fragging out more. But, you know, I've seen it a number of times once they get comfortable with their point total that they just kind of, you know, seal the victory with good zone, make sure we're end game. Obviously, we're going to pick up kills because we know how to shoot and position and all this end game stuff. So, again, Kinetic 7 was the talk of the day today. Winner Circle also having a very, very strong day, jumping Torch. So that's something that has to, you know, be noted there. And again, I think a big battle is going to break out on the cutoff line. I think we're going to see a lot of the teams on the right side of the leaderboard start to get some wins here and there and pick up some momentum. So as you can see, 72 right now for Code Red Gaming is going to get you into the playoffs. We're halfway through. Double that, we're about at 150 points. So you're going to have to get probably in between 130 and 150 points to get into the top 8 here. Several teams starting to get it rolling. Nitrous Esports was up there. They're dropping down a little bit. AE, we saw have some good games. RS, Platinum 7. So a lot of these teams starting to put some points on the board. And we're going to have a lot to keep an eye on as we kind of break into the second half of this regular season.
Yeah, and Euro had that good push, so hopefully they'll be kind of up a little bit further there. Also, again, this doesn't have the last game, but we should kind of end on where we're at with our kills here, even after that 7 kills. Tyro not on the list, but top kills going to QDeck still, in a pretty big lead. Ghost in second, Torch, Luca in third, another member. Actually, Torch finaling out the last 3 there with 26, 25, 24.
Yeah, that's some nice
Yeah, good
like
graphic
nice
there.
even team there, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then we'll just finish off with the damage here. QDeck's obviously going to be in the lead with all those kills, but look at Ghost. Ghost is over 10 kills behind him, pretty close in damage. So Ghost putting down a lot of damage. And then 2 members of Torch in the top 5, Luca in third, Fizz in 5th, and then KO Marco sneaking in on the 4th spot there, in 4th place. So that's going to be the end of the EU day 3 for Stento. And I'll bring it back to Locam one more time so we could say goodbye to everybody. We're going to be back in an hour and a half for the NA portion, which should be really exciting. And now we got the ball rolling. Sorry for some issues before. It seemed like we had some Twitch issues, but everything is now situated and we'll be back. Thank you guys for sticking around, and we'll be here all month of the June, mostly Monday, Tuesday, and then again at night on Wednesday for NA. So we'll catch you guys later tonight.
Yeah,
Adios, everybody.
absolutely.
All right, later,
Appreciate
everybody.
it, guys.
GG's.